in what many people may be looking for, whether it's revenge, assurance, ascension. We, regardless, are going to witness for the first time in AEW a redemption. And this is City Predicting episode number 178 as we come together tonight to simply predict AEW's redemption, the final stop before we go all in. So welcome once again, everybody, into the conversation. Hello, everybody, and welcome back in here once again to City Predicting. You know what this is, for I am the simple man, the simple brand, the voice of SS for Grateful for all things professional wrestling, damn it. And my name is Noah Foster. So thank you all for tuning in, whether live or on demand, on any of the outlets here at the Simple Alpha Studios or on our X. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, and if you want to dictate the conversation, super chat or pay by the passions. It's as simple as that. And you know I am never alone. But as always, before I bring in the gaggle of fools, allow me to remind you, this forum is our initial thoughts for predictions. And of course, the Prediction League forum will be out on my social medias, as well as the YouTube community tab, in conjunction with the No DQ social media, as well as, of course, hashtag No DQ Galaxy on the X. You, of course, will have a deadline to make your predictions final, but you're allowed to change them up at any time prior to that. Simple as that. And you will find the form in the comment section down below once these streams conclude. Some point tomorrow morning after I wake up and finish the forum, I assure you. There will be some spoilers, by the way, for Collision in regards to one match. You have been warned in advance. So without further ado, let's introduce tonight's panels to discuss and to predict. First and foremost, here's one half of the MVPs, the VIPs, the ministers that are at the expenses of my dignity. More often than not, it seems. It is, of course, Emmanuel Dominguez. We also have the Renegade Wrestling CEO of Castagnoli Studios, social media brand ambassador for the Simple Alpha Studios, regular JJ Williams, and certainly last but not least, she's yours, she's mine, she's our all elite Canadian friend, Ash, as you have a fantastic for tonight's festivities. Let's go around the horn and see how everyone's feeling. That being said, first and foremost, Emmanuel, good to see you once again. How are you feeling about AEW Redemption?
The pay-per-view is going to be kind of interesting, but they're going to kill it. That's always like any other AEW pay-per-view, no matter what card it is. Because let's face it, like they could be doing this blank and do random matches, and it's gonna kill it. Let's face facts, they're gonna kill it either way. So no matter how the build-up is set up for this pay-per-view, they're kind of saving up for the next pay-per-view per se, but nevertheless, it's going to be an interesting one for those AEW fans out there.
As long as you're engaged and entertained, you get your money's worth. And to your point, every AEW pay-per-view, average 9.25 out of 10, has succeeded against my wallet. And Matt Helms, the Fed, good to see you all as always. Faithful, of course, supporters and viewers and, of course, commentators. Listen about the studios. Truly, also, you are MVPs of your own class, and I genuinely mean that. And speaking of MVP, truly an MVP here, Canadian, but also just in general, not only for the Simple Studios family, but honestly, the self-proclaimed internet wrestling community. If you know, you know, folks. Truly coming into her own, letting her wings spread. It is always a pleasure to have here on any forum our Canadian friend Ash, who is also all elite. Ash, really get you Vash. How are you this evening?
I'm good. Looking forward to be discussing this pay-per-view. I got this all set and ready for you, Noah.
Oh, bloody hell. And for those that don't know, she's, of course, referring to our new venture we've started that has encouraged not only our own self kind of like awareness in how we conduct ourselves, but also how it's comfortable to just be yourself. Of course, the return of the Simple Sessions. Figure for those, by the way, that have been tuning exclusively at Bag for Wrestling, this immense brand. If you haven't already, subscribe today. Stay tuned for next week. Yeah, there you go. Simple as that. Again, stay tuned next week because it sounds like there's an activity planned for me. Oh, geez. That being said, whether it's an activity, whether it's shenanigans, whether it's something that I need to bring forward my level of responsibility and maturity, you can always count on this gentleman to bring the other side of that or book me for said role. But it's always a pleasure to have truly my right-hand partner in this predictions forum, the Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams. JJ, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to be seen. At least for right now. You know, I will be going back out camera to eat my dinner here momentarily, but yeah, it's good to be here, man. It's been an interesting couple of weeks, to say the least.
In more ways than one.
You know, when you start in one part of the state and end up at the complete other end of the state, it's definitely a journey.
Right? The journey worth taking, though, right?
Definitely, definitely. And speaking of journeys worth taking, AEW Redemption. Let's go. There's definitely a few matches on this show that I'm really looking forward to. There's matches that, whatever. Could be saved for Collision.
Yeah.
And, we'll probably still get like 3 more matches thrown in here between now and the pay-per-view because got to fill out the 0 hour now.
Well, that's different, but yeah, you got.
Heaven forbid we just have a pre-show that hypes the show. No, nay. We need 7 matches on the 0 hour. So,
all right, first off, you're exaggerating.
You're right. I am exaggerating. You're right. I am exaggerating.
Secondly,
but you know what? You're laughing and you're smiling because it's been historically accurate.
Yeah,
just because it may not be right now doesn't mean it hasn't been in the past.
I get that, but also if you
watch,
only focus
I
on
would almost bet you money.
Canadian.
I'll tell you what, Noah. I will bet you a Simply Reliable Studios logo T-shirt. All in London has 4 to 5 0-hour matches.
I'm not a gambling man. I'm a simple man, frugal.
You got to keep the Brits entertained somehow, right? Going into the show because they love their wrestling just as much as they love their football.
It's their WrestleMania, so I could see the 0 hour there being 4 to 5 matches, 2 hours long.
Boy, you crazy. All right. That being said, we'll see what happens.
Got me when I'm telling lies, though.
Well, if you ask MJF, he would call you a liar since the cancer's been removed, but that's a whole different conversation. And we'll talk more about that soon, folks. But next month, we go all in, which will be the biggest stage of AEW's calendar year. But before we get there, indeed, we have so much more right now to look forward to and discuss. So without further ado, as I echo many of the same sentiments shared by the panel, AEW sickos, if you call yourself that. I simply call you fans. Cinematic enthusiasts, fellow discussion bringers, people with professional wrestling opinions and predictions, like all of us in Simply Live Studios community. Let's get right into it. So again, folks, for the first time ever, AEW brings forward to us Redemption. It will come to us from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, at the Central Bell Center, and it will be exclusively on pay-per-view Sunday, July 26th. Get it today from your local pay-per-view provider or HBO Max. Special start time, 1 hour earlier. That is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the actual pay-per-view, and the 0 hour will start at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, here in our predictions league in the Simply Live Studios, we focus on the main cards. We will be going live probably a quarter before the hour, unless somebody wants to be a clown panel like Nick and the Misses, if they want to do that on their own as exclusive entertaining content for Simply Live Studios. That's entirely up to you. And of course, your predictions, like I said, they do matter, but your predictions will also be final come 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Sunday, So stay tuned for more on that. And again, as always here at Little Discretion, predictions subject to change. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this soiree. As again, the show is called Redemption, but it might as well be called Revenge. A painful revenge. Because the Painmaker has once again returned center stage, taking on the Psycho Killer, Tommaso Ciampa. We're going to start with the red hot wildness, folks. And whether or not this starts the show, it just seems like these two are just ready to get it on. So once again, it is Jericho and Ciampa 2. This thing escalated after what happened on Beach Break on the sandy shores of that wonderful venue, as Tommaso Ciampa proved that night he was better than Jericho, not only out-wrestling him, but outsmarting him. He has also caused Jericho multiple times an amount of pain and threatened to drill the man's head with a drill, I'm just saying. We have not seen the Painmaker, I believe, since 2022 against Eddie Kingston in that barbed wire everywhere match. We saw how well that went. We saw him endure Nick Gage, and we got a pizza endorsement out of it. Bloody hell. And, of course, the Painmaker's origins goes all the way back to 2019 when he first brought against Kazuchika Okada. Jericho, underneath this violent demeanor, doesn't think about anything else but inflicting bodily punishment to his opponent, and the Psycho Killer welcomes it as he asks Paul White to send a message to his best friend Jericho. You remember Jericho in the bygone life? So do I, folks. Well, now we have the Painmaker returning in AEW, and all hell is going to break loose because this match, as you can see, is no holds barred. It's no disqualification. So blood will be shed, but the bottom line, will redemption be found for the Painmaker, or will once again Ciampa find his moment at the expense of Jericho, proving that he's better? My shout tells a story. This match is going to tell a story. And the thing, Jericho's return was in Canada, eh? Now his redemption might be in Montreal at Redemption, but it also could be his burial for the Painmaker, I'm just saying. Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this match. As usual here with the side of the card, based on the bigger matches, everyone, of course, will get their fair share. We'll start off with one person, and then we'll go open it up to agree or disagree for the lesser matches. Since this one does feature a mainstay main of AEW, and I do feel like there might be a little bit more than meets the eye that could come from this for both men, and considering this is an extreme circumstance, I think everyone should get this chance to say their piece. So starting first and foremost with the Canadian, because I figure that makes sense, and you have watched more matches for Painmaker Jericho than Bret the Hitman Hart. We're going to start with you, Ash. Yes, folks, if you don't know, again, it's a trope that follows her as old as time itself, as I, of course, am also christened now by Aaron Riff. Sports indifferent, wrestling invested. That's a new quote courtesy of the Simple Man. Go ahead and put that on a shirt and make that your own if you truly like me. Simple as that. Don't get ideas. Ash, your thoughts on this no holds barred violent encounter? Painmaker or the Cycle Killer? Who you got surviving, let alone being redeemed?
So JJ mentioned like there's some matches that could have been on Collision. Yeah, this could have been one of them.
I completely agree.
I mean, it started on Collision, could have ended at Collision, but I get Jericho's a big name. You want him to be on the pay-per-view. Yeah. I have Tommaso Ciampa winning. Jericho has done enough. He can suffer a loss, and this could help elevate Tommaso Ciampa back into the upper mid card, possibly.
Okay. But it's also one of those things we're in Canada, eh? And how many times in AEW have we seen the hometown boy or girl win? Different world here. But that being said, she's home in the battle.
It varies depending on storylines, because we have seen people lose in their home countries before.
True that, but not as prolific here in AEW versus the other company with 50 years legacy, just saying. But that being said, thank you, Ash. Simple to the point. She started off with Ciampa, seizing another moment. And again, for a guy calling himself the Cornerstone, JJ, let me get my list out here, actually, of his other names. Wizard, Influencer, Demo God, Ocho, best in the world at what he does. You get the idea. But JJ,
don't forget my favorite, the Ayatollah of rock and rolla.
Yeah, and everyone's least favorite, the Learning Tree. Hi, guys. That being said, JJ, what do you expect to happen here? Again, Jericho, yeah, he's done everything it seems to do in this business. And honestly, what he could do for AEW, let alone win in AEW. So with the Painmaker here, which honestly, I wonder if the Painmaker is going to retire before Jericho. Could this be the Painmaker's last match? What do you see happening?
I don't think it'll be... You said the Painmakers, not Jericho's last match.
Correct.
It could be a retirement of sorts for the Painmaker gimmick. Honestly, it's one of my least favorite of Jericho's. Mainly, it's just because I don't really follow Japan, so I didn't see where it started.
That's fair. And he's only used, I think, 3 times in Japan, to be fair, too. And 2 of those times, he lost.
But unfortunately for Ash, I see this becoming a best-of-3 series. And if Jericho lost the first one, he needs to win the second one to force the third match.
As old as the trope itself of wrestling rivalry. So you got the Painmaker inflicting enough pain to beat Ciampa at Redemption.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Because, again, it's in Canada. Tony tends to lean towards giving the hometown people their, flowers, their victories. It's a good thing the hometown man doesn't wrestle for AEW. Otherwise, every town is his hometown and thus would be a victory.
I hate
the hometown man would be the the hometown man would probably defeat Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship because he'd be undefeated. How could you prevent it?
Throw that out in the ether is all I gotta say.
No, I'm being truthful though.
Bleh. Truth is truth is ugly. It's ugly truth.
Oh, and I do have one small favor to ask tonight and going forward of you, if it's not too much trouble.
What is it?
Can my picks count instead of having to do the form, since you know what my job entails and how little free time I have to be able to do all that stuff currently?
If that's what you want going forward, consider it official.
Thank you, sir. If I do have a change, I'll DM you. I'll DM you.
All right.
But, you know, I understand we can't do it for everybody, but you know my job situation. You know how much I'm out working these days.
I got you.
Trying to spend the time to send that email in. Just
I got
so much on the brain. Thank you, sir.
I got you. For some people, I do make that simple exception under the right circumstances, and you demonstrate that, and you also explain your case. And again, if anyone else has that case, I mean, they could speak now forever, hold their peace while we're on the air, or talk to me behind closed doors. That includes anybody down here. Again, I track like 80 plus people. Speaking of the All Elite League, again, there's a different Ash at the forefront right now, Ash. You've been bumped. So you have to try and restore your first place, but it's still a very close call. And I love that the women of the All Elite League are kind of holding things down.
Yeah, thanks, Luck. Really let me down, man.
Ash is probably the only person here who's going to get this joke, but I had to look around to see if Mike, not Stat Boy, but Mike was around before I started praising Jericho and putting him over.
Oh, brother.
Oh, God. Yeah,
that's a space reference that y'all would only get if you participating spaces.
Exactly.
Mike's good people. He's
just very anti-Jericho.
Yeah.
He's almost as anti-Jericho as he is anti-WWE in general.
Fair enough. There are some people like that, and hey, there are different polarizations that make the world go round, and I guess in this case, in a painful world not involving Jun Kasai the crazy monkey or Nick Cage with a pizza cutter, we got the Painmaker Chris Jericho and Tommaso Ciampa in Canada. All right, so that being said, it's a split ballot. This is very interesting. Let's go to Emmanuel to split the ballot even further, or maybe be a possible decider if I don't go 50-50. Hi, Emmanuel. Welcome to City for Day. Now you're hey, what's up? That being said, pain is ahead. So, who inflicts more pain and who gets the win in this no disqualification match? Do you agree with JJ with it going 1-1? Or do you think Ash is right, where Ciampa once again sees the moment at the expense of the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla in his darkest form?
I thought for a second there, Ash is reaching at me, saying, "You better pick me."
You are literally in a corner, so either one of them could bonk you on the head. Continue.
And second of all, shame on you, Noah. You don't like fun gimmicks, the hometown man. You don't like the Gran Americano. You don't like the Disco Fever. Shame on you.
I am what I am. Continue.
But back to the match.
Yeah, back to serious matters.
Snap back to reality.
Thank you for that. Yes.
I have to go with JJ in this one, the Painmaker. Like, Chris Jericho is going to win this, unfortunately. And we're going to have a best of three, probably. And this rivalry continues to all in or all out. Like one of those two, unfortunately. And we have a decisive factor right there. Best of five, probably. I'm not sure, but it's mixed choice. It's true. Like, I'm not sure how many match Tony Khan wants. Like, I'm not Tony Khan. Like, maybe it's the best of five.
Fair. He hasn't done like a best of five or a best of 7 series as far as I know. So I'll give you that. Continue.
So this totally makes sense. Like this feud is gonna continue on, and like it feels like there's more to the story that they haven't been told. In my opinion, like maybe it has reached to a pinnacle for some, but for me, it hasn't even started to cook yet. So
I like what you did there, pinnacle.
Ah, yes, we all remember that feud. One of the many feuds, of course, in Jericho's AEW legacy when, of course, he led the Inner Circle. Please continue.
But yeah, I mean, like this feud seems like it's gonna start building up. So I have to go with Chris Jericho myself.
All right, fair enough. Well, again, looking at the fact that many of feuds in professional wrestling, damn it, usually do not end in a draw, and usually have at least 3 encounters, if not an epic blow-off. The fact that we see a different side of Jericho could play in Ciampa, still going after Jericho with the fact he hasn't out-wrestled him. What's next? Lionheart? But I do think that JJ is very much on point. And when this was made, I had to figure that there was going to be a violent revenge arc for Jericho or an identity of him. I absolutely am going with the Painmaker here. He wouldn't bring this out just for it to literally be the last match. Again, we don't know what Jericho's end game is as the cornerstone. Resign AEW. He still has more to offer, apparently, and he still wants to wrestle more, it seems. And right now, this feud with Ciampa is a very unique dynamic that challenges him physically and mentally. We saw Ciampa already prey on his psyche. Now we'll see how painful things can get for the Psycho Killer back in true form since being released from the Fed, as we've seen against Mark Briscoe. I gotta go with the Painmaker here. This does not end here, but I do think we get a violent pause after Ciampa gets effed up by the Painmaker and vice versa. But something tells me these two will be far from done with one another. Blood will be shed, but it won't be the final balance. I have the Painmaker winning as well. All right. With that being said, simple and to the point, and shout
Sorry, Ash.
It's okay.
Then once in a while, it happens at AEW pay-per-view where a bat gets a right pick. But again, you are still very much in the driver's seat for the All Elite Fleet, as Ashley is currently leading and tied with Christopher Rods and Jordan Johns. You are in a second, proverbial 5th place, tied at the second highest score at 29 with a great friend of mine, King Kieta, and shout out to the AEW crew, my brother KG King, as well as my Horseman of Predictions, Mark Griffith, and others, of course, faithful members of the City Predicting Leagues across other brands, of course, as I do this for AEW, NXT, WWE, and TNA. But there you go. And stay tuned for Prediction League Breakdown with me and Papadino, where we give you the updated scores, the updated leagues, and the means, and the modes, and the measures, the outliers, all the in-betweens. Nonetheless. And follow him today at Major Push Wrestling. Appreciate you, bruv. And congrats on your engagement. All right, good job. That being said, first match in. We already got an odd one out with our Canadian Finance. We still appreciate her. Again, subscribe to Papagino 0017. Cheers, bro. All right, let's go ahead and move on now to something a little bit different. Not really quite violent, but then again, JJ, how you know? Like, seriously, folks, how you know? Because Andrade Idolo is looking to seize gold from the Don Callis family against Dunkzilla Mark Davis. Things have really escalated since Death's Door was open and shut till probably next year. I love that steel cage, by the way. For those that don't know, Andrade Idolo was formerly a member of the Don Callis family. But at Forbidden Door, he clocked MJF with a vicious, ridiculous back elbow after MJF was trying to make the plays. And at the end of the day, revealed truly how he felt about all of this with a simple shirt. F Don, F MJF. Thanks for that night. Mark Briscoe's team won that night. Andrade was a free man. Well, except for every woman that wants to be with him. And right now, Andrade, he's living his best life, not named Ricky Martin, La Vida Loca. That being said, whether you're an OnlyFans or a wrestling fan, if you see Andrade, you've been getting every chance you can with a selfie with a real Latino man who has got aspirations on being the AEW World Champion. Until Don Callis decided to get his pound of flesh revenge and have the family get revenge on him. And now Andrade's targeted every one of them and looks to take all their gold, one belt at a time, as he only has one question. How you know? And he also is currently bearing and holding MJF's Dynamite Diamond Ring. Telling you right now, there might be some foreshadowing, just saying. But thanks to beating Machine Brian Cage and Jake Doyle, he has earned this opportunity based on Don Callis' Invisible Hands plan, saying, you want to challenge a member of the family, you want to challenge a member for the gold, beat this man, and you can challenge Mark Davis. And now he has this chance. Despite the fact Mark Davis laid him out on Collision, Andrade is still very much showing off his style and pressing forward against the Don Callis family, as we saw this past Wednesday on Dynamite, standing alongside Bandido, and we'll talk more about that later. But that being said, Andrade Idolo versus Mark Davis one-on-one in what has been the continued story of the Don Callis family imploding. I can only imagine what would happen if Don Callis loses another piece of gold versus another family member. But that being said, how you know? Let's go around the horn and see if y'all think about this and if we have a brand new AEW National Championship or maybe a new development with someone else showing up. Maybe not even on the family's behalf. Amanda, we're going to start with you. So that being said, Andrade Idolo, how you'll know if he's going to be new AEW National Champion or if Dunkzilla retains. Go for it.
I believe Andrade Idolo is going to gain championship. Ooh. And the reason why, Andrade has a grudge right now to a former Papa H, no pun intended.
Yeah.
And rub it in his face what he just lost. And Tony Khan is going to say, okay, let's see what you can do with it. The people are going to tweet out, ooh, Triple H fumbled, Andrade Idolo.
Yeah,
he's now a champion.
I don't use that statistic. I don't even acknowledge that, but I understand you're not wrong. Again, the community, toxic community. More toxic than Britney Spears' song. Continue.
But it's not true, but right now he's on fire. He's building up a little bit, by little, and it's working. Like it fits the mold. Like right now, like he's like like his momentum is picking up, and I feel like he should regain this title and see what he could do against the Don Callis family. Is he gonna be the reason why they break up, or be partial reason why they break up? I'm not sure, but because we've been saying it for a long time, like the Callis family has done it all. Like we're just waiting for that ticking bomb to actually explode for that massive breakup and the end of the Don Callis family, and I can't wait to see it. So
same
for me, Andrade Idolo for the win.
All right, then. We have a brand new AEW National Champion. Interesting development. So, JJ, what are your thoughts on Andrade Idolo? The last time we saw him, of course, before, how you know, he was literally butting Don Callis to be the guy, to be the focal point, to challenge for the AEW World Championship. And every chance Don Callis falsely promised him, another member was put at the forefront of him to the point they had MJF on negotiation, and Andrade couldn't stand it. We also know the bad blood with Andrade and MJF goes all the way back to House of Glory when Andrade tried to cost MJF his Triple B against somebody in House of Glory that night. The fact of the matter is, though, he's in possession of the Dynamite Diamond Ring, and MJF has not been seen since Beach Break after that loss to Kenny Omega. So, again, JJ, how you know if there's going to be a new AEW National Championship or a new development that takes Andrade Idolo in a whole different direction? What do you think about this? Do you agree with Emmanuel, which is a very rare situation?
All right. So I have 3 things on this.
Okay.
Number 1. Remember when we talked about matches that could have been on Dynamite or Collision?
See?
This is one of them.
Agree, but nonetheless.
Number 2, what is Andrade's catchphrase?
Oh, you know. Of course. Had to bring a Disney meme. Continue. That just annoyed me.
Go ahead, take 10 minutes off. You can't. You're the host. You're in the hot seat.
Yep. You
Number
got me there
3,
for the night. Clever play.
Number 3, I agree with Emmanuel. I think we have Andrade as the champion.
Wow.
Because if we're being honest, and okay, look, I mean this with all the respect in the world, I don't buy Mark Davis as a singles champion.
Oh. Okay.
I just don't. Maybe if the FTW title was still in play, maybe. But any championship worth half a damn, I just don't buy Mark Davis as a champion. unless it's a tag or a trios title.
That's fair because he's basically a better specialist underneath that work, but he's definitely trying with this.
And timestamp this. Kudos to Tony Khan for trying, but Mark Davis ain't it. Mark Davis ain't going to put ass in seats. Mark Davis ain't going to get ratings. Mark Davis ain't going to push merch. I'm sorry. Put the belt on Andrade.
How you know? All right. That being said, we got two.
How I know? Look at the ratings. Look at the attendance.
I don't look at that.
Look, how much Mark Davis merch do you see on Shop AEW or AEW Shop?
I don't even go there.
Merch.
I don't know.
So how you know? That's how I know.
Fair enough. So he knows what he knows. That's how he knows. Okay. That being said, don't play a drinking game. By the way, how many times we say no? KNOW. By the way, not the other word. That being said, thank you, JJ. That being said, Ash. So far, it's unanimous, and I'm going to put you on the ballot here to see if you go 2 in a row, being the odd one out. How you know? Because I pick Andrade, too. I also think about this. What's coming up in August prior to All In? Grand Slam Mexico. And the AEW National title is to be defended on all stages of partners in AEW. And Andrade just recently lost the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, which means he is heavily focused now on AEW Adventures. And he's a free man. He's his own man, so he can do whatever he wants. And
is that actually a Mark Davis t-shirt?
Yes, it is. So there you go.
Wow, okay.
Good to know.
Only two. That's
better than none. It's better than none.
Yeah, I'm about to say there's some people that got nothing. But that
this is true.
That being said, I think Mark Davis is going to have to rely more on that versus
I
Don
don't see any busted in the brain merchandise. Damn it.
Well,
yeah, that's because they're on ROH purgatory right now, sadly.
Yeah, and also they just arrived in AEW, so I'm going to give it time, much like the Rascals.
They've been there for 6 months. They can get a t-shirt.
Hey, I don't know who designs the stuff. Why don't you reach out to Teespring or their design team? That being said, timing is everything, and I do think the time is now for Andrade El Idolo to seize this title and stick it to Don Callis even further. But there's still something in the back of my mind that does make me wonder, considering he's been flaunting it. Could somebody get involved and interfere, or could this lead to maybe a different arc of revenge? Because we all know the devil doesn't forget. I'm just saying, when he came back for his new world, he did it at the expense of the man that took the world from him, Samoa Joe. Hello. Now, truth be told, took a fatal 4-way, but he still got his world back and his championship back. And the fact of the matter right now, he is nowhere in any way able to go all in. But it doesn't mean that redemption can't become his revenge. I do think Andrade wins, but I do think we get a development after the match, and I'm going to leave it at that. I got Andrade to become the new national champion as well, because I do think we are starting to see the cracks in the foundation of the Don Callis family. And him losing the piece of gold is a great start to further that echo sentiment amongst many people. How you'll know? That being said, it's 3 for Andrade Idolo. So, Ash, it's a hat trick. But can you make it a 4-bagger? Mm-hmm. Do you agree?
Yeah, I was thinking of having Andrade win. And you know what's really sad?
What?
I forgot this title existed.
That's because there's too many fucking titles.
Too many belts. Too many belts amongst both companies. It's the problem of the business. Too many belts.
When you mentioned like national championships, like, wait, what? Oh yeah, that's right. They've had that for a while now. I've completely forgotten.
Since last year's Full Gear. And there's only been 3 champions: Ricochet, Jungle Jack Perry, who resigned AEW, by the way, and now Mark Davis. There you go.
Yeah, right. I have Andrade winning this, and I think if he does win the title, I think but they're going to have him do what they did with Ricochet, like have that defend everywhere. Like, you know, have it defended at Grand Slam Mexico, CMLL, other Mexican promotions that I can't think of that's not AAA.
Just go with Mexican because he's the last real Latino man. Canada, Japan, he's wrestled in France. I'm just saying, the man's world renowned, all right?
Yeah, so he could probably like do what Ricochet did and defended like a bunch of indie promotions that AEW is partnered with.
Yeah,
make it national because it's the national title.
Maybe defended at some of the promotions that are, I don't know, on the My AEW app.
Well, considering that's a new development, that's a great approach now. So I could definitely maybe see that in the works. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
By the way, shout out to Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. I love what they're doing so far. And again, Marvinello, it's so damn good to hear that man's voice on commentary again for a wrestling product. Still, F-Ton countless. All right, well, that being said, how you know? I know these. We all went with Andrade to become the new AEW national champion. Maybe we think he's better than Mark Davis, and we know it.
And he'll get singles gold before his ex-wife.
Damn! Yeah. It's harsh, bro.
Stop me when I'm telling lies.
He will never, ever, ever leave that woman alone. Good grief. All right. Well,
no lies detected.
All right. You do you feel better after that? Do you feel better after that now?
Look. I'm nicer to her than I am to what's the hashtag, Safet? Purple hair twat waffle? I'm nicer to Charlotte than I am to her.
Well, I mean, niceness should go always, but in humanity, there's just those points that niceness can't flow. And when it comes to Shida, there's no niceness anymore with her, especially against the it girl that has transcended what she can be in professional wrestling. But can she get the new face of TBS? We're about to find out. Still, Shida is best. Because now, Hikaru Shida will defend the TBS championship against Maya World. Ever since Hikaru Shida won the TBS championship, of course, going along with the record of Chris Statlander, because stats where it's at, damn it. Basically, Hikaru Shida has introduced this new modified bow and arrow submission called the Best of Shida, and has literally put Harley Cameron on the injury reserve self indefinitely. And also just did the same thing, maybe, to Queen Aminata, 2 successful defenses in, as Maya was stepping to the plate and sees her kendo stick. We've seen the It Girl take every advantage possible in this world ever since her star-making performance at Forbidden Door against Mercedes Moné, and of course, getting a pinfall win on Athena. Now looking for new opportunities here in AEW, trying to seize the TBS title. With Shida's newfound attitude, though, she's been virtually unstoppable. So the bottom line is this: will the It Girl shine, or will she get a shiner? And will Hikaru Shida make sure that she still holds on to the TBS title underneath this new identity, this new submission, and this new venture? Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this. For me, I'm going to start this one off. I think this is simple. When it comes to TV championships, I look at them as opportunities to showcase talent, but further develop your character. And we have seen that with Shida in spades since she returned to AEW and pretty much gone into business all for herself. And right now, she's been a fighting champion, and I'm liking this dark attitude, and I think this is a comfortable spot for her. For Maya World, though, 2 pay-per-views back-to-back, marquee matches, big opportunities. Again, only 3 years involved in this business. The sky's the limit for Maya World, but I don't think we get a WTF moment in Canada for the Texan. I think Hikaru Shida, and I don't think this goes the time limit. By the way, they do have 20-minute time limits. I think Shida does find a way to wrap her up in a pretzel, and I think she holds on to the championship. But Maya World's going to give her a run for her money. I got Shida retaining. I think this is one of the more simpler matches, honestly. So if anyone has a disagreement, I'll open the floor. Otherwise, we'll move on. Going once. Going twice. Okay, very good. But JJ, I do see you have a comment, so go ahead and speak your mind real quick and we'll move on.
Yeah, I was going to say no disagreement. I was just going to say July 26th is not Maya World's day. August 21st is.
Really?
Death before dishonor. Athena has passed Roman's reign.
Acknowledge that.
Athena finally goes down at the hands of Maya World.
That's a very, very, very hot take. But I honestly hope you're right. And stay tuned, folks. We will be coming. We have our Death Before Dishonor course here at the Simple Albo Studios. If you haven't followed us already, that's our Studio 2024 on the X. Manuel, I see your hand. What you got to say real quick?
If she doesn't, then I'll be like, what? Tony Khan, we need to talk. We need to let it go. Let go of Athena's title reign. It's gone long enough. We don't need another year.
It's gone longer than Ring of Honor history needs it. You might as well put that thing in a damn time capsule with Athena strapped around it. No one else is going to ever do that. Nobody. And to her credit, she's done it against everybody, everywhere with that title. And she fought that championship and defended and proved that championship more than most champions combined right now to hold a championship. That's crazy. And they weren't pushovers either. What a hot friggin' moment there. Anyway, that being said, all right. Ash, it's a women's match. Anything further you want to add?
I was about to say, I was going to have Shida win. As much as I would love for Maya World to be TBS champion, I think it's a little too soon for her right now. Shida just recently won the title. I just like for her to have a decent reign before she drops it. And Maya, she'll become TBS champion. I just don't know when. Because I do see her holding that title, but I just don't know when. Because she put on a hell of a performance throughout the Owen Hart tournament and her match against Mercedes. That was like a star-making match for her.
You wouldn't know it because Dave Meltzer still hasn't rated it yet. But
who gives a fuck what that old man says anyway?
Yeah,
I'm just making a ha-ha.
I know, I get it. He's not. I'm not. What you gotta say real quick?
I know you were, but still, it's just like.
Anytime I hear that name, I'm like,
it's very questionable. It's not a good look on his end too, especially given the two participants involved, right? I'm just saying, you're not beating the allegations, dude. Just give it a rating.
You're asking people to be honest in this day and age? Ash, are you kidding me? Anyway, continue, Jay.
I was just gonna say there's enough AEW belts that are getting hot potatoed. We don't need to add this one to the list.
Agree. All right. That being said, all for Shida. The best of Shida for right now for the face of TBS. Okay. Well, that was a nice and simple match to talk about. Now, let's go ahead and talk about a match not for a championship. Believe it or not, there are some matches like that. Guns up and raise some steel, as we're not going to see a dog spayed or neuter, but we might see a dog let off the chain or left on the chain. Because what literally was the kickoff of the Savage King finally comes ahead against the very man he took the moniker from when he planted that flag in the dirt. And a shillelagh, for that matter, in the back of the man's head. Breathe with me, if you will, as the Switchblade Jay White teams up with Rockhard Juice Roberts as the Bang Bang Gang takes on the Dogs. David Finlay and Clark Connors in, you're reading that right, a double chain match. It does not say dog collar match, unless dog collar is forbidden in freaking Canada. I have no idea. But I imagine we're going to see steel swung around at nobody's safety in mind. And someone's going to be leaving with a lot of welts and probably choked out. Okay, let's go ahead and bring people up to speed on this little soiree, shall we? If you're looking at it from a long-term storytelling development, sometimes those words cringe me, but I understand why some people buy into that shit. That being said, this goes all the way back in California when Jay White was excommunicated not only from New Japan in the States, but by Bullet Club by David Finlay, who wanted everything Jay White had. Fast forward the clock when the Dodds was made and Clark Connors joins David Finlay on that venture. And of course, we now see the Dodds here in AEW and Jay White, who has been out on injury for about 15 months, finally came back and exacted revenge, causing the Dogs a chance for the AEW Tag Team Champions against Cage and Cope. They had a pretty good chance, actually, for Forbidden Door before Jay White showed up. Since then, Jay White is back here, and the arsenal has been fully reloaded for the Bang Bang Gang. All 5 men at the forefront. But they've also been at the bad end of what's been a unique running partnership of violence with the Dogs and the Death Riders, particularly the Dogs. After seizing David Finlay's shillelagh last week on Dynamite when he was looking for another cheap win, it's become even more personal. Last night on Dynamite, Clark Connors lost to Switchblade Jay White, getting caught out of nowhere with a Blade Runner, as only the Catalyst can do here in professional wrestling and give you your welcome. And David Finlay not only reclaimed his shillelagh, he clocked Jay White and dropped him in the middle of the ring and was looking to take further advantage. After Rockhard Juice Robinson came in like a bat of hell with a steel chain, we got this double chain match made official. So finally, after 15 months, and I believe what is 2 years, if not 3 years, David Finlay and Switchblade Jay White finally comes ahead in a double chain match. And I imagine the only way to win is via pinfall or submission. So do you breathe with the Switchblade, or will the Savage King leave the Switchblade breathless? Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this. We'll go ahead and kick things off here with Emmanuel. Emmanuel, what do you think about this unique exhibition that really is coming forward with Violence Unlimited, likely, this coming Sunday? Does this finally settle things and close the book with David Finlay and Jay White, or does it lead to maybe them finally going one-on-one, and do we end it with that? Does the shillelagh come into play again? And what side needs this win more, considering the Dogs kind of had a rough running so far in AEW, considering they've only been involved in this company for, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, yeah, 7 months.
Yeah, this is a tough predicament for the Dogs, because Jay White just came back and the Bang Bang Gang is back in full force. I was thinking that Bang Bang Gang, to be honest, Noah, for those viewers who are not into hardcore matches or bleed, do not watch this match. Just skip this match and fast forward to the next 25 minutes, and then you go and you see the next match. Like,
I like that.
It's simple as that. As simple as that. It's true. Like, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody.
And I don't hold that against anybody either. But that being said, you got the Dogs winning?
No, I had the Bang Bang Gang.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because they just came back. Now they're in full force. The momentum has to be there. I'm not sure how many chances you want to take with Jay White as the leader, and because he keeps getting injured at the same time. But at the same time, the Dogs need the momentum. Like you said, Noah, it's been 7 months. They need a win for this pay-per-view. I'm trying to force people to go for the Dogs so I could get 1 point at least.
Oh, look at you trying to rig the freaking mindsets of people, trying to win the vote. Good luck, Thruff. All right. That being said, that's one gun up. He's got the Bang Bang Gang. Put in the Dogs in their place. Now, whether or not they Bob Barker treated or they're just left on a leash, whole different conversation. Thank you, Emmanuel. Okay, JJ, what do you want to add to that regarding this violent tag team exhibition, where at the end of the day, the end game is going to be David Finlay and Switchblade Jay White? I guarantee you.
Remember how we talked about matches that could have been on Dynamite or Collision?
Yes.
Furthermore, have the Dogs won a match that actually mattered for something?
On pay-per-view, no. On TV, multiple tag matches, but that's it.
Matches that actually mattered for something.
Well, I mean, they beat...
I'm not talking about little throwaways here and there.
No. I'm not talking about that either. They have beaten former AEW Tag Team Champions a couple of times, but besides that, no.
Okay, so the Dogs haven't won anything worth half a damn.
Pretty much.
What makes you think they're going to start now? I breathe with the Switchblade.
Guns up. That's 2 guns up. All right. Ash, what do you think adding to this? Again, it was Juice Robinson that decided to open up the clinic to basically, neuter a couple of dogs, and he's basically been hell-bent. And it's also one of those things with Juice Robinson being so unhinged. I can see them exploiting Juice Robinson and maybe the Dogs getting the win. But we also know how much a master manipulator Switchblade Jay White is. And again, this is more of a violent fight versus a one-on-one match. And when I look at that type of playbook, it does seem like it favors the Dogs. Jay White's not used to going this level of extreme. The last time we saw that happen, he ended up getting choked out by Evil in a steel cage. Just saying. But what do you think?
Yeah, David Finlay does not have a good track record with this type of match because as you mentioned, the last time he was in this match, he lost to Evil at Dominion.
Yeah.
I'm just like, who needs this win more? The Dogs are Robinson and Jay White, because I refuse to say that tag name. You can't make me, because I'm not going to.
That's fair. I still
Fair
call
enough.
them Bullet Club Gold myself.
Same.
That's the better name, but they can't use the Bullet Club name for some reason. But
Because
It's
Gato,
Switchblade and the Honeycomb guy.
Gato owns it. Remember, he's the one that created Bullet Club. Even if Bullet Club's dead, he's the one that created it. Continue.
yeah, I was like, Jay White just came back. You want to rebuild momentum for him because
Yes.
his crew is doing well for themselves. On the other hand, it's like, what the dog doing? What they doing?
Yeah, they're running wild. That's what they're doing. They're running wild.
They haven't really done anything of substance, and it's just like, why bring them in? It's like, I get why they came in, but at the same time they're not doing anything with them. It's just
you gotta have utility players to take a beating or dish a beating, I guess.
Wait a minute. A wrestling company that brings talent in and then doesn't do anything with them. I thought that only happened across the street.
No, it happens in both places. And if you're one-dimensional, then you are a problem with this business. But that's not a TED Talk. That's a TED Talk for another day. Continue, Ash.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out who needs this win more.
Flip a Canadian quarter and get your decision in.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out because can we drag out this feud? But I don't think we can. And it sucks that they're not doing anything with them. But yeah, I'm going with Jay White and Juice Robinson winning.
I look at the four men. I think about who needs to push themselves back into the spotlight and the championship contingency the most amongst the four men. One man that was denied a chance to push forward due to injury, with a man that could no longer challenge for the world championship on his own moral code. And kudos to him right now holding on to that. Who knew integrity could still exist in freaking humanity, let alone the professional wrestling business? Just saying. I look at one man on the thing here that has turned it around for Bullet Club Gold. And if he's going to continue to turn around, he's got to lead by example. He's here for a reason. Unless another dog shows up and joins in this fight, making the numbers uneven for whatever reason, there's honestly no way I'm betting against Switchblade Jay White right now. Again, the in-ring IQ of this man, what he manipulates, what he defines, goes beyond his years in this business. He should be in the upper echelon, but like you talked about, play with injuries. Again, 15 months, folks. He's been out for 15 months, has had 2 matches, and so far has won both, but only one of them has been a singles. First one was, of course, with Cage and Cope, multi-person warfare, and that's what really escalated this whole rivalry with the Death Riders and the Dogs aligning themselves together in the same pursuit of violence at the expense of the AEW Tag Team Champions and Switchblade Jay White and company. And again, I do wonder if Switchblade Jay White could pose a threat to a man that has yet to beat him. Just saying. And that man has gold. So, might be some foreshadowing for the future. But either way, I see Jay White moving forward. And the only way that happens is if he puts away David Finlay and removes him from his past once for all. How you do that? You chain him up. Maybe that's how you win this. Again, I have no idea what to expect here but violence, and I'm going to have fun with it. But I got Jay White and Juice Robinson for the win as well. So, guns up for everybody here. It is once again unanimous. All right. Good job, everybody. That's too sweet. Let's go ahead and move on. All right, let's go ahead and move on into our next match here. And as we move away from tag teams, we're going to move into a singles banger. And honestly, what some people might be looking forward to the most, a professional wrestling fan like me. This, I guarantee you, is going to get me to say that's professional wrestling, damn it. Because, boy, are these two driven to prove a point. Kyle Fletcher, the Protostar, will be defending the AEW International Championship against the most wanted and still remember our world champion, Bandido. Let's fucking go. I am so damn ready for this match. All right, so for those that don't know the story with this, of course, Bandido got a huge tag team win over the Death Riders after they've had a little bit of mixed fortunes out of the Owen and Double or Nothing, and also, of course, weren't really involved in Forbidden Door, and have kind of been on a winning track ever since. At one point backstage, the Proto-Star, Kyle Fletcher, who just regained this title for the family at the expense of Gonzalo Kachka at Beach Bears Kanotsuke, of course, competes in G1 Climax. Stay tuned for further updates and baddie takes on that, folks, in and out of the Simple Session and on Baddie Bracket Breakdown in the near future. courtesy of the Cements brand and Bad for Wrestling exclusively. Keep plug. But that being said, the Protostar Kyle Fletcher already won defense in against Commander. A hell of a defense, by the way. And also, of course, now holds gold once again in Doghouse family. He felt disrespected by Bandido and says, once you call your shot and come against me, I accept. The pride of the Protostar, this young prodigy at 26 years of age, by the way, channeling still this hate fueled by Don Callis' family's pursuit of greatness and control. Freaking madman, but he's a freaking mad genius like Paul Heyman in his own designs. We've admitted here. However, here's an interesting tidbit for you that might make you rethink this a little bit. Another man has also been having his eyes on Kyle Fletcher's prize. The former AEW International Champion, Kazuchika Okada. And things have really hit a boiling point last night on Dynamite, where Bandido beat Protostar Kyle Fletcher and Kazuchika Okada after Okada inadvertently, quote unquote, hit Kyle Fletcher with a Rainmaker, and Bandido pinned Kyle Fletcher with a low bridge 21 plex. You heard me right. The challenger of this match just pinned the champion last night on Dynamite as Kyle Fletcher read Okada the riot act saying, this is all your fault, your fault, your fault, your fault. He kept saying, so sorry, so sorry, so sorry, so sorry, so sorry, so sorry. So again, implosions in the Don Callis family and the pride of Kyle Fletcher. So much saying that he is better than Kevin Knight. He told Kevin Knight to his face, I don't even need the family to defend this, which is why I'm going to go to Tony Khan and make sure that you and everyone is banned from ringside. So this will be a one-on-one match, legit, this Sunday, and Kyle Fletcher is coming off a loss pinfall against his challenger. With Okada still maybe wanting that title, does he think he could take it off Kyle Fletcher, who has beaten him 2 years in a row in the Continental Classic? Or would he rather have it on Bandido? Could we see him somehow play an influence here, a man that Okada has beaten in singles action? And for Don Callis, does he care more about Kyle Fletcher or Kazuchika Okada? So, what prevails in the end of this heated bout here that's sure to be a hell of an exhibition? Bitch. Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think. If you have a brand new AEW National Champion, or does the Protostar make you say his full name? Remember the last time we were here in Canada? It didn't work out so well for him. But that was a main event opportunity at the AEW World Championship. Now he comes in here reigning and defending AEW International Champion. So far, in singles, he's undefeated. Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this. Ash, what's your thoughts on this? Talking about the elements of the Don Callis family. I'm pretty sure Kyle Fletcher is one of those elements you think that is due to combust as part of the implosion of what's to come. Maybe sooner rather than later. But that being said, this is also a huge battle of pride now for the Protostar against Bandido, who has been red hot since Double or Nothing, despite the fact he lost out of the Owen. What do you think?
I don't think the Don Callis family implosion is gonna start here. I think it's gonna we're gonna slowly build to it, and it's gonna end at the next pay-per-view, which is All Out, right?
All in.
All in.
So they could go all out, quote unquote.
Yeah. so yeah, I see Fletcher retaining, and I see him making it a three-way between Takeshita, Okada, and Fletcher, and that's when that implosion ends. Is that All Out by whoever gets that title off of Fletcher?
Buffer, fall person. I like that a lot. And of course, All In will be after the conclusion of the G1 Climax, so that very well can happen.
I do love me some Bandido. He's one of those wrestlers who just puts a smile on my face every time I see him. I love Bandido so much.
He is my favorite luchador to watch compete in a ring. He is absolutely phenomenal. And by the way, still holding the Ring of Honor Championship. So that being said, you got Kyle Fletcher retaining?
Yes.
Okay then. Well, that being said, JJ, it's the first time ever singles encounter, by the way. They have never faced each other one-on-one, believe it or not, folks, despite the fact across multiple circumstances and multi-person matches, this will now be their 8th encounter in AEW. But again, first time ever in singles. That being said, the pride of the Protostar versus, again, Bandido, who has just been phenomenal. But again, still the holder of the AEW World title, the Ring of Honor World title. what do you think, JJ? What are your thoughts on this? And again, how does this add more fuel to the Don Callis family implosion? And to Ash's point, because of course you are Mr. Narrator, did she kind of give you that same idea, or did you already have that same idea in your storytelling?
I'd be lying if I had said I had that storytelling going. For me, it comes down to something very simple.
And what would that be?
Bandido is the male Athena.
Well, over a year, but yes.
Tremendous in Ring of Honor, can't be beaten. Comes up to the main roster in singles matches, especially championship opportunities. Short end of the stick. He ain't winning any title for the main roster until he loses that Ring of Honor world title. Protostar retains.
All right.
Simple. End of story.
Well, as far as this story goes, all right, fair enough. I respect that outtake. Well, Emmanuel, to that thought, challenge for the Continental title earlier this year against Jon Moxley, lost. Challenge for the AEW World Championship earlier this year against MJF, lost. Third opportunity to challenge for AEW Gold here. Is it a hat trick of more of the same? Do you agree with everybody else?
Yeah, after hearing what happened last week, Noah, from like I was gonna go like without knowing that what's going on. I thought it was gonna be Bandido, but hearing that how Kyle Fletcher suffered the pinfall last week, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna retain this title, no hands down. Like I agree with JJ until he moves up. Expect him to lose more often. I mean, like just. I don't know why Tony Khan does this a lot with the ROH superstars. They come in this AEW pay-per-view and then they lose. Like it's kind of frustrating because then when they come up, why should I care that they keep losing? Like why should I be invested in this person? And they're supposed to be like NXT. They're supposed to be the people who's going to come up pretty soon. So it's like the reverse psychology. Like at least you could say NXT stars are getting wins at least in the main roster and major pay-per-views against significant names. But I'm not sure if Tony Khan gets the concept of ROH superstars, but he needs to start booking them stronger so that way you could be seeing what's ROH is cooking. I like how they is building up stars and everything like that. So for me, like Tony Khan needs to start worrying about ROH as a brand, and then worry about who should get wins in these important matches because it's hurting them than helping them, in my opinion.
Fair enough, but I also consider two things. They don't make superstars. They don't have superstars here. They have professional wrestlers that wrestle. And Ring of Honor is still its own entity. It's not a development brand, despite what people's outlook may be for it. Plus, in NXT, still NXT is a third brand more than ever. Brand split LOL. The trope most of the time, though, NXT does lose to the main roster because you can't make a main roster look weak. But I do respect your opinion. I do see your point. But the bottom line, though, you got the same as the Bat and the JJ. And I'm actually going to agree with you all because at the end of the day, I see the end game being this. When Okada lost that to Konosuke, that's a turning point for the Rainmaker. When Kyle gained it, and Okada talk about Proto Okada has young boy. Every single person that tries to show they're better than him, no matter what company they work in, whether it was All Japan with freaking Kento Miyahara, whether it was Pro Wrestling Noah with Kato Kiyomiya, Kyle Fletcher is no different. In fact, he is a young boy. Kyle Fletcher is young in his singles rise, shining star point of his career. And Okada wants his belt back, bitch. As far as I'm concerned, if Okada doesn't get what he wants, Don Callis is in for a world of trouble, if you get what I'm saying. And I do think that Don Callis is going to invest in Okada because of the pedigree of competitor that he is, because he's wired different. And I do think we're in for a rude awakening for the Proto Star because much like the Proto Star and Konosuke were, they have their own mindsets, their own goals. They have their own strides for greatness. And maybe necessarily it won't be under Don Callis's agenda, itinerary, or his own dictation. Because at the end of the day, if you think for yourself, Don Callis is like, fuck you. So yeah, for now though, I definitely got Kyle Fletcher retaining, but I do see developments with Kyle Fletcher and Okada feuding. Because something's got to give sooner rather than later with those two. Kyle Fletcher for the win. It's Protostar unanimous. Amanda, I see your hand. What you got to say real quick?
But yeah, like Kyle Fletcher is gonna lose the title eventually. They're gonna build up Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher for the title, like in the next year. Trust me, time's fine if you want, but you heard it first. Like I think that's the direction AEW and Tony Khan is gonna be heading towards in the future, in the next year.
All right, look at this man trying to be a freaking advanced booker. Shout out to Nasty Leroy in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate you, partner. All right, well, that being said, all for the Protostar, and we will all see his full name, and we will also say, and still, AEW National Champion. But I can't wait to call this match. This is going to be fucking awesome. All right, good stuff, everybody. Now, let's go ahead and move on from there. Why can I not delete the graphic? There we go. Let's go ahead and move on from there. We're getting down the horn here for the rest of the card, and now we are getting to, I would say, the thick of a few things, and then we got a cool-down match, because every AEW pay-per-view has that cool-down human car wreck, you know what I'm saying? But we're not going to talk about that yet. We're going to switch gears here and elevate the mood, or maybe the trust, or maybe the tension, maybe all in between. Because basically, Will Ospreay wants to get some reps in alongside Jon Moxley, and Jon Moxley has had an equal relationship of woe and also just a distrust for all things elite. Well, it does become more elite than the Young Bucks, JJ's favorite tag team, and he'll kick things off as Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay will team together. And by the way, folks, they are undefeated as a tag team so far against the Young Bucks, who are looking to maybe get one step closer to the AEW Tag Team Championships. Now, let's just call Ace of Space here, shall we? Since Will Ospreay aligned with Jon Moxley and this newfound legacy on his life to his own redemption or his recension, bruvs, we have seen the conditioning of his neck, we have seen the training pay off, and we have seen Will Ospreay win the Owen. And so far, Jon Moxley has been to bat as backup to Will Ospreay, and further, I would say, mentoring him to the point that he gave literally Ospreay an emblem for the Death Riders, saying you can ride with us at any time. At the beginning, Jon Moxley said one thing: I only want to see this through, like you, to the end. That's all I ask. The end hasn't happened yet. The end goal is all in. But so far, Will Ospreay, he's not looking to wait. He's looking to continue to test himself. He's looking to continue to warm himself up. This past Wednesday on Dynamite, a Wild Trios main event, and by the way, that's yesterday, folks. It was Will Ospreay, Jon Moxley, and Kenny Omega teaming together the Triforce of AEW that we christened Ash against Don Callis' family. And they did win, but boy, were tensions blowing up afterwards with shoving contests after an inadvertent strike by Kenny Omega to Jon Moxley, while Ospreay trying to play peacekeeper. The Young Bucks try to calm down and cool down the situation. Next thing you know, Will Ospreay inadvertently back elbow one of them, fighting in and out of the ring. Tensions explode, and now we really see this becoming a heated confrontation. This feels like a tale of two things. Jon Moxley looking to stick it to the elite once again. Will Ospreay once again testing his mental, and also Jon Moxley telling Will Ospreay, if it presents itself, you will pull the trigger. You want to send a message to Kenny Omega, you send a message at the expense of his best friends. Just saying. Got to give Jon Moxley what he wants, it sounds like. Or maybe Will Ospreay needs. Bottom line, so far the Young Bucks as a tag team on major stage, they've won, but they have lost out on the AEW Tag Team Championships, not once, but twice. This year alone. Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this. Do we see Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay continuing their winning ways to elevate Ospreay's confidence and maybe what he needs for violence, according to Jon Moxley, to literally be the man to seize the AEW World Championship at All In? Or do we see the Young Bucks, the much more experienced tag team, continuing their winning ways towards maybe the AEW Tag Team Championships? Something's got to give. Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think. I think JJ is going to make it short, sweet, and simple because considering it's his favorite tag team in AEW. Hi, JJ. Will Ospreay, Jon Moxley. What do you think about this pairing? What you got to say regarding this? Does Will Ospreay pull a lethal trigger if Jon Moxley sets him up for it? Or is it just maybe more of, I'm ready, bruv, but I'm just putting more reps in? What do you think?
Oh, look, they're making a Joe Hendry Elite figure.
Oh, that's an interesting tidbit. But that being said, continue your thoughts. And yes, I know he did the trope, folks.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Although he's doing jack shit right now in the Fed, but that's a whole different conversation. Continue, JJ.
They're also making a Mr. Iguana and Layeska figure.
Well, people will buy anything they want to waste their money on, especially kids. They'll buy any dumb shit until you return it to Target.
Hey. Let's not insult and make it just about kids. I actually want to buy this.
Well, that's
They're also doing a Finn Balor Demonito. So you can get Mr. Iguana Layeska and Finn Balor and Demonito.
Also, what's wrong with buying dolls, Noah? Like, come on.
There are far better ways to spend your money.
That's right. You can.
But it makes me happy.
You can go and buy a Simply Reliable Studios T-shirt. Link is in the description on YouTube.
All right, so he's got Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley. Moving on as he's turning
Actually,
this into a promotion. What?
Actually,
you are not.
I'm actually contemplating Matthew and Nicholas because there's no heat between Omega and Ospreay going into All In.
You are right.
It is babyface versus babyface.
The game of one-upsmanship.
So something as simple as a miscommunication that allows the veteran brothers to pick up a victory over the champion and the number one contender could be all we need to get the ball really rolling for the next 30 days.
We do have a month. Keyword a month, not a week. I actually like that. I like that a lot. And it was tensions in the team and miscommunication that led the Young Bucks to win last time they were on pay-per-view in a traditional tag match at Dynasty with the implosion of Konosuke and Okada that we were just waiting to see. And that kind of was basically two heels at that point, but we all knew Konosuke was babyface. Here, though, the lines are blurred with Jon Moxley. We know Ospreay's babyface. But to your point, Omega and Ospreay, tremendous respect, support one another, always be at the back of each other, always testing their mental, always raising a bar. But here, we're not seeing the so-called aggressive Commonwealth Kingpin side of the bruv, and that could bring it out. I actually like that. So you got the Young Bucks winning.
Sad but true.
Okay, then. That's very interesting.
Where's Soto? Timestamp it, Soto. I picked the Bucks.
You heard it here, folks. He picked the Young Bucks. The world is ending as we know it. The end is not. The end is not. No, I'm kidding.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
That's not copyright. That's not public domain.
It's the end of the world as we know it.
All right, moving on. Be careful, JJ. Remember, the man in the suit's in charge.
Emmanuel feels fine.
Yeah.
Take it away, Emmanuel.
All right, Mr. Segway. I was going to go to him, so let's go ahead and tag Emmanuel in. Another Young Buck at heart, but also a fool at heart with a shot club waiting to hit him in the back of the head. Emmanuel, do you agree with JJ? This is interesting.
How dare you bring the chocolate, man?
I always know that your stupidity is not too far away from Arlene's sisterly mentality. Continue.
Well, Arlene's not here during that, so I'm in the carrier. Anyways.
All right, fair enough.
I bought it in
I'm telling you, those chocolates move like boomerangs.
They go back to you,
You
mate.
could throw it from work and it'll enter the frame, smack him upside the face, and return to her at work.
Yep.
It's 100% real here all the time, Nasty Leroy. Simple as that. That goes for everybody here when it comes to what we
Leroy
generally
knows.
agree.
Leroy knows. He's been in the
I know.
spaces, and shout out to the Nasty Man. Check out the interview in the archives.
Keep plug. He knows. We know how you'll know. Because we know JJ. Everyone knows JJ here at this point. If you don't, say hello to the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams Castagnoli Studios. Anyway, that being said, Manuel, continue. Good grief.
I was going to tell you, though, like, I bought myself an Emmanuel T-shirt, but unfortunately, it has not arrived yet. So I can't even play my word. What's up with that?
It only recently shipped, so in theory, you should have it. You might have it by the SummerSlam predictions.
Okay.
And yes, folks, stay tuned. Next week, it will be game time to be determined. Penciling currently right now, 1 week from the day, same time. Stay tuned for official details. Continue, Emmanuel.
And your Bloody Tickers one shipped a while ago, so you'll probably be receiving it any day.
I got it yesterday.
Woohoo!
Congratulations.
Nice.
Before we go off the air, you got to hold it up and show the camera.
Oh, I was going to wear it up for shenanigans on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
That's even
that
better.
Worked. Even better.
On-screen promotion. That being said, back on screen to predictions. Continue, Emmanuel.
You know, it's like we don't want to talk about this match, but I've been trying to delay the inevitable to talk about this match because this pairing does not make sense at all for me. Will Ospreay with John Moxley, like it's like the baby face is like it's like the baby face Cody Rhodes just joining the bloodline, just going, yeah, okay, without question. Okay.
I mean, to be fair, they did that before. Remember, he teamed up with Roman Reigns, but that's a bygone line. Continue.
I'm just saying, it's the same concept. Like, I never understood that either. Like, this is mind-blowing. Like, but funnily, like, they're good.
His mind's boggled, folks.
Because it's like, you know what's going to happen. You know you're going to get betrayed. Why are you acting and helping them out and acting nonchalant? That the backdrop and that he wants something out of you. It's obviously he wants something from you. Like, I'm not sure if making Will Ospreay as an idiot for believing that actually, like, oh, they're my buddies. They're trying to help me out and everything like that.
It's all a matter of perspective, Emmanuel. Don't overthink it. It's all about perspective.
I get that. I just say that because I know what's going to happen. Like, once Will Ospreay gets the title, a certain John Moxley's going to say, hey, remember the favor I did to you?
This is where Andrade's quote definitely comes into play. How you know? You don't know. You don't.
I do know.
You're trying to foretell the future. That's the point of predictions. It hasn't been actuality yet.
This is my prediction, though. This is my prediction, Noah.
It's a bold prediction and also a bold premonition, but you gotta live in the present. The present right now is you gotta get through Sunday. So what team is your pick?
I have to go with Will Ospreay and John Moxley. They're gonna keep doing this stick until John Moxley decides to go to Triple H route.
There you go. Keep your train at the station before you pull it out to go overseas to London. All right, man? This isn't fantasy booking. This is simply predicting. All right. Thank you. Good grief.
I see where Emmanuel's coming from because that's what they kind of did with Brian, did they not? After he lost the title?
That is correct. You're absolutely right. Oh, with that being said, Ash, premonitions galore, predictions shared as well. What's in store? Let's see if you agree with candidate A or candidate B. Where do you stand, candidate C?
I have the Young Bucks winning. This gives them momentum going into a possible tag title match at All Out.
All right.
Like, yeah, Moxley and Ospreay are undefeated as a tag team, but I have a feeling something's going to happen between this match that, because I think what Emmanuel mentioned is going to happen, and this is what's going to like create the domino effect for it. Whether Ospreay wins the championship or not, I think the Death Riders are going to turn on Ospreay regardless if he wins the title or not. Because keep in mind, Moxley is still Continental Champion, right?
Yes, he is. Death Riders versus the world as well. And, of course, one Death Rider is wreaking havoc in the G1.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Gabe Kidd's a Death Rider.
Gabe Kidd is Gabe Kidd, and that's a whole different enigma to talk about another day. But that being said,
Gabe Kidd is a brat. He reminds me of my cousin so much. I'm like, oh my god,
that's a kinder metaphor probably for him.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this: my cousin is just as mouthy as Gabe Kidd, but unlike Gabe Kidd, he's able to defend himself. Sadly. My cousin
Alright.
can't do crap.
Fair enough.
It's getting to the point where he's just going to run his mouth, and it's just going to cause him so much trouble, and that's Whereas Gabe Kidd, on the other hand, same thing's going to happen to him.
Well, actions speak louder than words.
Mm-hmm.
A simple proverb of wisdom that many people don't take to heart.
Yeah.
But that being said, you got actually
The Young Bucks.
The Young Bucks. So
Yes.
it is a crazy world. We got JJ and Ash agreeing. So that being said, I mean, it does happen once in a while.
Have I said I hated the Young Bucks?
I haven't heard that.
Exactly. Like, no one knows my stance on them, so
Keep it to yourself unless you want to share it. Then I guess.
exactly. I'm just gonna say right now, I agree with JJ that they're gonna win. I'll put it this way about the Young Bucks. To me, they work best as a special attraction, where the less you see of them, the better. Because
Interesting outlook.
it's just because that's just how that works to me. Because when I watch a Young Bucks match, I know what I'm going to get into with the Young Bucks match, and am I going to be excited for it? Absolutely. Every once in a while, not every week, because it gets to the point where I'll eventually get sick of them because it will start to feel samey. Where I get it, yes, wrestlers do have their move sets, okay? Because sure, what I said about the Young Bucks, you can say about everyone else, but it's just like it gets to the point where, sure, it's not the moves, it's how you do them. But the Young Bucks, to me, they do it in such a repetitive nature where it kind of feels like samey if it comes in, week out. So that's why I feel they're best as a special attraction where you don't see them every often. Because when you do that, when they not wrestle that often and you see them on paper, you'd be like, oh my God, that's so cool. Hell yeah, let's do this. But
redundancy wears. I get you. Redundancy wears. Stay tuned for further conversation on that in the next simple session, folks. That's definitely going to probably be a topic. But she's not wrong. Because
100, like in the beginning, and this is coming from a guy that saw them on the come up. In the beginning, you could see them on a consistent basis like that because you were always going to see something new, something different. At this point in their career, if you've seen one Young Bucks match, you've seen every Young Bucks match.
That's fair.
07,
right.
08, 09, 010, even into like 2012, you couldn't really say that.
Again, this gentleman, in case y'all don't know, has witnessed the Young Bucks genesis.
But I'll say since the inception of AEW, if you've seen one Young Bucks match, you've seen them all.
Unless against FTR, where they tried to elevate themselves each time after facing them, because those two might as well have fought forever. And FTR has been out of the picture since. We'll talk more about that in the tag title match. Okay, man, we got to say here real quick before we move on. That being said, Ash and JJ, both of it Young Bucks, and you went with the Death Riders. What you got to say real quick?
Well, two things. If I'm going to be the only one to play my manual card, this is my only time I can play my manual card. Second of all, I'm surprised that all these pay-per-views, you still haven't put an extra point. How many super kicks does the Young Bucks have?
Because that's a ridiculous super point. I don't do that type of nonsense in my leagues.
I have 19 super kicks.
This is not the Price is Right, all right? Bob Barker, rest in peace. I don't care for Drew Carey. That being said, game shows have not been the same since the original hosts have been gone. Stay tuned, folks. There might be another simple session topic to come. But that being said, thank you, Emmanuel.
You'll like this. You'll like this. I was out in Palm Springs last week doing Uber and stuff, and I literally drove past Monty Hall Boulevard.
Okay, that's awesome. That warms my heart.
Because there's a lot of streets in Palm Springs named after celebrities: Bob Hope, Dinah Shore, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra.
Right.
But I saw Monty Hall, and I immediately thought of you and Statboy because of your love for game shows.
And I don't care for Wayne Brady because he's turned Let's Make a Deal into a musical, and I hate musicals. So thank you for that.
Me too, but I like Wayne Brady. Wayne Brady I can deal with. Wayne Brady got it.
The game shows, the way they run nowadays. All right, that being said, Emmanuel, you're not playing your manual card because there's a reason I'm in the lead, but sometimes you just go wild. it's also one of those things that I feel like, regardless, because of respect being the factor, I do think tension will build, but it will build beyond this because we got a month. I got Death Rider and Ospreay. I feel like right now you can't make any sort of way will Ospreay look weak, but you can further build the tension of Jon Moxley pushing the best out of Will Ospreay. That might be the worst when it comes to, if you see the target, you gotta pull the trigger. Maybe he doesn't pull it against Kenny Omega first. Maybe he pulls it against a Young Buck. Kenny Omega witnesses that. That plays in his psyche throughout the night. We see how that unfolds, and then we go into the fallout and see how these two are like, look, bruv, at the end of the day, you know what this is about. It's competition. It's the heat of competition, the heat of battle. Much like when Will Ospreay lost sight on Bryan Danielson and thought he damn near contest the man at Dynasty. Still one of my favorite matches of all time. But right now, I think this pairing of challenging mentality, because that's what this is, with Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay, needs to continue. I don't think it needs to be boiled over with them yet, but I think it does need to reach a different point with him and Kenny Omega. Them losing against the Bucks, I don't think does that. Them beating the Bucks, I think adds to that, because at the end of the day, you're hurting Kenny Omega's best friends. So believe it or not, this one's 50-50. I'm with you, goofball. I got Jon Moxley and Will Ospreay winning, so no manual card for you. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on from there. We only have a few matches left, and again, this should be interesting. I'm not sure exactly what to expect, but I know what to expect here from one tag team dynamic that might be cause and effect to the other one, where you're hoping that they go all in and maybe not traditionally. Let's go ahead and talk about two great Canadians, shall we? And Ash, you know more about these two than Bret the Hitman Hart. It is, of course, Adam Copeland and the man that wears the best turtleneck since Steve Jobs, Christian Cage, our current AEW Tag Team Champions, looking to once again defeat another pair of Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli and the Bastard Pac, also known as Death Rider Team A. All right, folks, straight up, of course, we know that Cage and Cope have been tag champions since Double or Nothing, and FTR have not been seen since they said I quit after Dax Harwood got spiked. Since then, we have seen the tag champions retain the title successfully against the Dogs and against Death Riders Team B, Daniel Garcia, and, of course, Wheeler Yuta. Now, of course, since, this whole alignment with the Death Riders and the Dogs, we have seen the tag champs attack every possible way, to the point Death Riders want to keep hitting us from behind, bring them forward, because we know that you guys never work alone. So you know what? Pat, Claudio, show us what you're made of. We're calling you out. And basically, when they were trying to add to that promo last night, they got assaulted again. But this time, Pac and Claudio assaulted them from the front, as Pac looked to remind these two legends exactly what the Death Riders are made of. So, bottom line, do we see a tag title change? No. Do we see a tag title change happening at AEW Redemption in Canada for Adam Copeland and Christian Cage ahead of what we think may happen all in with the Young Bucks possibly part of the equation? All right, straight up, I don't think this needs heavy conversation. If anyone says, and you cannot even play in a manual card that makes sense, if anyone says Claudio Castagnoli and Pac, I'm taking you off this stream. I gotta go with Cage and Cope here. Are you fucking kidding me? We talked about how many times ad nauseum them being the reset to the next generation to take the titles off of them, or this being the legacy run in what could be them winding down. At least one of them, if rumor has it. I can't see these two losing right now. Come on now, seriously. It's Cage and Cope for the win. Simple as that. This is the most obvious match of the night for me, in my opinion. So I'm going to start the ballot here and close it probably with Cage and Cope winning. Simple as that. Does anyone have anything to say regarding a disagreement? Disagreement. Going once, going twice. All right, good people. Say your quick fun. We're moving on into another match. Go ahead. You muted yourself again. Bunch.
Okay.
Just mind me.
So,
Okay.
Sorry about that. My computer's lagging.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
Anyways.
might need to refresh, but continue. Say your thought.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, like it's kind of sad where Claudio is falling. Like there was so much promise back in the day when he left for WWE to AEW, and people were saying he was the most utilized and he was the most likely to become world champion. and he's still.
He's been two
in
different world
mid-card.
champions, just not the champion yet of AEW, but continue.
But yeah, and second of all, that picture is weird. I don't like that photograph. I don't know what they were thinking as a poster. That's a F minus graphic match card. Horrible job for AEW.
That's literally how great they are. They're full of grits.
It looks like Edge just looking down, like, look, Cheetos. He's looking down, like he's like, ooh, a towel. Like I don't know, like he looks weird. I don't know what to tell you. No.
I was about to make that same joke. I was like, what the hell is Copeland looking at? What's he looking at? Who's he looking at? Why is he calling Claudio like that, you know?
Cockeyed. I can see kind of what you mean. All right. I kind of can see what you mean. All right. I'll let that slip. That being said, thank you, Emmanuel. Graphic aside, we all got Cajun Cope because that reeks of awesomeness. Good job, everybody.
Father of the Year.
I'm not going down that road with you, JJ. My father's been dead for over a decade. All right. That being said, I'm going to go.
Doesn't have to be if Christian comes into your life.
I don't need that.
Isn't that his gimmick? I mean, just saying. Love you,
true. Man, I know. You show it a weird way.
But I have pictures of him with my daughter. So good with kids.
Careful before you become a Maury situation, who really the father is. All right,
moving
on from there.
That's fair, because I do remember distinctly going to what was then Staples Center before there was a parking garage across the street. So we're talking that long ago.
Okay, fair enough.
And Christian rolling by on one of those golf carts, flirting with my girlfriend who would become my daughter's mom.
Bloody hell.
So like, who's to say?
I give you that.
I just did that to get the reaction from Ash. Thank you for playing into it, Ash.
You drove her batty. Go figure. You drove her batty. All right. Well, that being said, we all said Cajun Cope. But you know what, Ash? When you're driven batty, I only got 2 words for you. Smile anyways. And speaking of smiles, here's the definition of the show, folks, because this might be literally
the main event.
I kind of agree, but then again, Kenny Omega, Canada, Kevin Knight, huge opportunity. They're pretty much 1A and 1B for me. Let's go ahead and talk about this match, though, because this is definitely top 2 for me. I'm so damn excited for this. Let's freaking go. Is it Willow's time? It's Willow Nightingale challenging the Toxic Spider, the most definitive women's champion right now in the business for me. Thekla, leader, of course, of the Triangle of Madness. Oh, and might I add, 1/3 of the Stardom Artists of Stardom champions alongside Sisters of Sin, Sky Blue and Julia Hart. And Julia Hart will be competing in Stardom this month in the 5-Star Grand Prix, taking the spot of the injured Bea Priestley as Sky Blue looks towards August to seize more gold in Pro Wrestling Eve. Sisters of Sin taking over the world. I fucking love it. All right, but focusing on the primary task at hand. It's Thekla versus Willow Nightingale. Straight up, Thekla has introduced this environment of toxicity that is welcome, in my opinion, because it has truly brought out the absolute worst and most aggressive in All Elite Wrestling. Let's fucking go for my favorite women's division. And of course, been the reigning and defending and defining AEW Women's World Champion, beating all these stupid bitches across every stage possible, under every environment possible, including but not limited to Mina Shirakawa, Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, just to name a few, La Mera, Thunder Rosa, the list goes on and on. Now, of course, Willow Nightingale was our former happy, smiling, bubbly face of TBS, but due to a shoulder injury, she had to vacate the title and vacate her spot out of the Owen. But looking to persist and coming back, welcoming to her family, of course, by the conglomeration, there was a Casino Gauntlet match at Beach Break, and lucky number 8 was Willow Nightingale, who was the babe with the power of bomb to succeed, earning this opportunity as Mercedes Moné watched down from a high seat. You know, Mercedes Moné, the one that was, of course, not only at the expense of Willow Nightingale, her rise in AEW, but also with Willow Nightingale at New Year's Smash, the CEO's downfall, taking her most coveted title. The bottom line, folks, you are looking at a match that will define our all-in AEW Women's World Championship, where Mercedes Monet awaits the winner. And last week on Collision, of course, with Renee Paquette, she says she doesn't matter who wins Sunday. I'm ready for both. And Mercedes Monet has never faced Thekla, and Thekla has never faced Willow. It's the first time ever one-on-one encounter for a show that's called Redemption. It might be the ascension of everyone's favorite bubbly, unorthodox babyface of professional wrestling business. So let's go ahead and see if you all believe there will be a brand new AEW Women's World Champion, or will AEW remain to be toxic? And the Triangle of Madness runs forward. JJ, I'm starting with you for one primary reason. You love Willow, and Willow is literally the babyface of the Simply Liable Studios. So that being said, define what goes all in and who leaves Sunday with the AEW Women's World Championship. The floor is yours.
This is one of those matches that I feel pretty cut and dry. Safet's in the chat saying this match is a toss-up. I know I give him a hard time sometimes, but I disagree here. Willow's taking this. Period, point blank. There's a lot of talk online.
Go ahead.
A lot of talk online that I know you're not privy to because you don't click, that you don't scroll.
Damn right.
Ash is in the spaces. She's going to know what I'm talking about here. There is a lot of talk online that Willow was never injured. There's a lot of speculation that they did this just to get her to this point without her having to be beaten. You know, she came back really quickly for a shoulder injury. I get she's the babe with the power. I get she's a strong, bad bitch. But she came back way too quick.
And we don't know if she required surgery, though, to be fair, either.
That's fair, but see, I'm of two minds on this topic.
Go for it.
There's the conspiracy theory, or there's what I like to call the Mr. Kennedy theory.
Kennedy!
She was injured. They thought it was worse than what it was. They did what they needed to get the belt off of her. Come to find out it wasn't as bad as they thought it was, and they didn't really need to do anything. A la Kennedy and his Money in the Bank opportunity.
Yes.
Either way, we have too many good guy, or bad guy matches going into AEW's WrestleMania. We need a classic babyface heel. Willow is the ultimate babyface. As you mentioned, the babyface of the Simply Reliable Studios. Beat out for Babyface of the Year last year. She won the award.
Correct.
Over some top-tier talent. Cody Rhodes, Punk, Jey Uso, Joe Hendry. We don't have to do the gimmick again.
No, we're not doing the gimmick.
The only female, the only AEW beating out those people says everything. Willow and Mercedes it's Professor Xavier and Magneto. It's Superman and Lex Luthor. You know, it's Batman and Joker. New Japan Strong Finals. TBS title. World title. Willow beats Thekla. Loses it to Mercedes at All In.
Ooh, look at you with the premonition. All right.
And then we'll probably run back like we did the TBS title, and Willow will eventually be the one to defeat Mercedes after she's had her run. But she's the catalyst to get the belt to Mercedes.
On take.
In just under a month, just like the TBS title, I believe that was 35 days.
You'll be correct.
This is going to be roughly the same amount of time.
But you got Willow getting the moment this Sunday.
I definitely do. And in doing so, she will be the first woman to be world, TBS, and tag champion.
Truly the Grand Slam.
Well, Triple Crown, Grand Slam if you add the Owen title.
Fair point. It's the only belt that Mercedes actually has, to your point.
You know, so not Shida, not Tony, definitely not Stat, because Stat is not where it's at.
You and I will never see eye to eye on that.
You know I've got nothing but love for Stat, but it always comes down to who they put her against. But bottom line is Willow is going to be the inaugural AEW Women's Triple Crown. Hell, I believe the inaugural AEW Triple Crown, period. Because no man has done it either.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. So that being said,
Mox hasn't been tagged. I don't think Kenny has won tag or a mid-card title.
He's won the tag, but not the TNT.
Okay. So he hasn't held a mid-card title. So I wasn't positive about the tag. So
that's fair.
But there's nobody in the men that will have done it either.
All right. Fair enough. I'll give you that. But that being said, for our Sunday, keep the train at the stage for now. You got Willow becoming the new AEW Women's World Champion.
Yes, I do. And if anybody disagrees, raise your hand. Otherwise, we can move the fuck along because the boys here getting tired.
Yeah, about to say, there's a reason why I had JJ do this. Because if I had to guess, this is the most anticipated match of the night for him because everyone loves Willow. Bottom line, yeah, so simple as that. Bottom line, as I see these two pondering before they say something stupid, I will go ahead and run it. Going once.
Before
going twice.
Love you before he says something stupid. I don't know Ash to say anything stupid.
Not about this, but Ash has her moments. She's batty for a reason, but you're definitely right about him with all due respect. Going once. Going twice. Good people. Absolutely. If Willow doesn't win, what the fuck are we doing? With all due respect, Thekla has a phenomenal run as champion. This will mark her 8th defense. And honestly, with the fact that she holds Stardom Gold and 1/3 of the Triangle Match is going to be involved in the Stardom 5-Star Grand Prix, that girl, that bitch, is going to wreak havoc on Stardom and Toru Okada in the upcoming month.
I'll put it to you like this. If I was in the arena in Montreal,
yes,
my sign would say, if Thekla wins, we riot.
Enough said. The 17th AEW Women's World Champion will be deemed by us to the predicting Willow Nightingale. Simple as that. And apparently, Jeff motherfucking Meacham, you do it. Jeff motherfucking Meacham, I'll christen you the Mr. Producer Man. Hey, I know these people. Hey, I see these people.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Jeff. Appreciate you.
Jeff.
Jeff motherfucking Meacham, always happy to have him part of the conversation.
Jeff,
on screen in the
Jeff
chat.
is a sad Meacham. Because I asked him today if he's available in 1 week for our next interview, and he said no.
Oh, well, there's always next time. Again, a missed opportunity just means a better opportunity awaits for you. I've said that
but
about
if Ash is off next Thursday, then maybe she can join.
I am working. I'm the opening and closing manager for Thursday.
Priorities over passions. Simple as that.
I am off Wednesday though.
The interview isn't on Wednesday.
I know, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying no because we're talking on AEW here, right? And where's AEW this Wednesday?
Detroit, Michigan. Again, I'm not going though because again, priorities over passions. But thank you, Ash, and thank you, JJ.
I think she might want to do a watch along in case
Why would you fit?
Because the boys might show up, and I'm going to pop off if they do. Because I love Shelly and Sabin. Because if they go to AEWs, you can expect I'm going to pop off like a mofo.
We'll talk behind closed doors whether or not we make it official. And here at the Cinema Studios, we try to be your one-stop spot for reliable coverage for the biggest moments possible here. And since I am from the bi-state area, if I'm not going, might as well be commentating it. We'll see. All right.
It's the same. That's also we know how I remember that one day you guys were doing an NXT show and I dropped in with the $50 super chat. I only tuned in because I thought the Motor City Machine Guns was going to be on that show. I was not expecting them to be on the main roster right away.
Fair enough. I mean, fair enough. And Jeff basically showing us, of course, for our passions, what he, of course, has to lead his talents to. But again, always appreciate you, Jeff. We'll talk more behind closed doors, how next week's scheduled. Sounds like I'm going to be busy as usual. Go figure, beyond what I actually need to do. But we'll see what happens. But that being said, we know what's going to happen this Sunday, or should happen this Sunday. Thekla drops the belt to Willow Nightingale. Simple as that. After 160, what would be 63, 4, 5, 60, 165 days. Had to do the math in my head. All right. Thank you, everybody. And Jeff, love you, brother. All right. Willow for the win. Simple as that. Okay. Let's transition real quick to a human car wreck because that's a make-up. What is it, Emmanuel? Don't say something stupid.
Something
I'm
stupid.
not. Yeah, I know. I'm not. I just got a question. If Thekla retains, it'd be one strange match, a heel versus heel, and we have to root for Mercedes. That's how they expect us to cheer for Mercedes that way.
There's
Like it doesn't make.
There's not enough high
I'm
gas
cheering
from
for
Woodstock.
Thekla.
There's not enough high gas from Burning Man or Woodstock in the 1960s that could make the world cheer for Mercedes Monet to become AEW Women's World Champion at the expense of Thekla.
B-O-O.
All right.
And second of all, Mick Foley said himself, like he sees a lot of himself in Willow Nightingale. And I'm like, well, he ain't wrong. I mean, like if she's that underdog that she has the belt for that short period of time, I can see it apparently, but Mick, no, just no.
All right, fair enough. Thank you, everybody, and also Safet. Damn it. All right, let's move on. Let's have some fun. Let's throw some names because you all know what time it is. It's time for the cool-down match. Much like what Nick and the Missus saw at All Out, we got a ladder match players, and it will determine a new number one contender for the AEW International Championship. Your field goes as follows. Beast Morto, Speedball Mike Billy, Commander, Jungle Jet Prey, of course, Speedball Mike Billy, Commander, very familiar with the current champion, and maybe Bandido if he actually wins the title. And the other two men that qualified, thank you, No DQ, by the way, who reported, who qualified, by the way. I had to go look at the spoilers to make sure this is as actually accurate as ever. Spoiler alert in 3, 2, 1. The other two men are El Clone of the Don Callis family and Nick Wayne. Okay, bottom line, folks, someone reaches the ladder, grab a ladder, climb it, sees the contract. You're the new number one contender for the AEW National Championship, whether or not it's held by Kyle Fletcher or Bandido. You know how this works in multi-person matches. You get 2 picks, primary, secondary. Don't take all night with this, all right? It's our semi-main because that's how AEW previews go. They have a human car wreck as a cooldown, which I think is a smart move because it really does draw the line with, okay, now we can let us seize in the moment. After Willow wins, everyone jumps out of their seats in absolute delight. Let her celebrate. Then you get the ladder set up, you get the traditional plug, you get the people coming in, and people go grab a drink at the Canada bar, probably an AEW root beer if I had to guess. I've been to Toronto, so I'm only guessing here. All right, folks, make it quick, make it simple. 2 names, secondary, primary, and you know how this works. Let's go around the horn and see what y'all got. Ash, you go first.
So, where's Redemption again?
Canada, eh?
Montreal, Quebec.
Canada.
Oh, Montreal, Quebec, Canada, the home of
That's
one.
Speedball like Billy. That's where Billy's from. Like, it's like, you want to talk about like giving wins to the hometown boy? This is perfect. Plus, it also sets up for Kevin Knight versus Speedball Mike Bailey for that TNT title.
I don't think anything else needs to be said about at least one pick and one.
Isn't it for the national title, not the TNT title?
International, which would be Kyle Fletcher versus or Bandido. And last year's Continental Classic, Speedo Mike Bailey beat Kyle Fletcher. Just
You
saying.
could also set up for a title versus title match between Kevin Knight and CB Mike Bailey.
True.
That's fair. That's actually a good point. I mean, Kevin Two Belts trying to freaking upstage Kevin Knight. Kyle Fletcher. I do like the way. Watch on my part. I do like the way you're tying all this in. That's good continuity sense there, Ash. I'm impressed. But anyway, what's your other pick?
Is Nick Wayne still ROH champion? Like
No.
TV title? Okay. So if it's not, who's all in the match again?
El Clone, the Beast Mortos, who of course had visa issues, no longer be our tag team champion, and Joe Japre, who just re-signed to the company, and Commander.
If Speedball's not winning it, I can see him try with Jack Perry again, because the company seems to be pretty high on Jack Perry.
All right, fair enough. So you got Joe Japre and Speedo Mike Bailey. Speedo Mike Bailey, Canada, duh! And again, continuity with Kyle Fletcher or freaking Kevin Knight. If he still wants to try and bring out the best of Kevin Knight, again, we'll see how good Kevin Knight is against Kenny Omega and see how that shapes Kevin Knight. See also how that affects him and will Ospreay's outlook, maybe after the match, maybe a shot's taken, just saying. Someone tells me Kenny Omega is not going to have just a clean run all the way to All In after Sunday night. But yeah, Speedo Mike Bailey, and as far as the national champion, Kyle Fletcher is who I picked earlier. Who am I going to go with? He just defended successfully against Commander on Dynamite, by the way, 2 weeks ago. So that's out. El Clone, family versus family, no. Heel versus heel, no. Nick Wayne, I don't know what to make of Nick Wayne right now because no title. Matriarchy's kind of dead. Trying to prove that he is the next great, prodigy. Young upstart versus young upstart, heelers mentality. I don't think the two have faced each other. Yeah, I feel like this is almost cut and dry. But Jeff Perry's already had big moments this year. Hell, he won the fucking national championship at freaking Revolution in front of JJ, in front of his own family. So I'm going to go a little different here just to make things a little bit different because why the fuck not? Got to make something seem exciting here in this ladder match, keyword ladder match. We already know what's going to happen here. Someone's going to get thrown up the top of the ladder. Speedo Mike Bailey and Nick Wayne. Those are my picks. JJ.
Speedball and Jack Perry.
All right. Emmanuel.
Speedball and right now, Boros.
What? The Beast Mortos.
Why not? Like we all went for it's pretty obvious. No, who's gonna win. It's Speedball. I just say it's pretty obvious who's gonna win. Like no offense to Jack Perry, he's the only second recognizable face. But other than that, who else is capable of that title? Like no offense, and trying to be different. So I gonna have to go to the Beast Mortal.
You know what? With all due respect, if this match somehow happens at Grand Slam, the Beast Mortals actually makes perfect sense. You actually might be onto something, but it didn't say win. So you know what? I'll give you 2% of decent prediction points for that, and we'll see what happens. All right. That was short, sweet, simple, and quick. That's the way I like to do things sometimes here at City Predicting. Okay, a lot of fun, a lot of fantasy booking, people trying to pull the train out of the station all the way across the freaking Atlantic Ocean to London sooner rather than we actually get to there. With that being said, let's get right down to the thick of things. Let's talk about the true homecoming boy, and let's talk about our main event. Does the Jet Sword become Kevin Two Belts, or does he crash land on the runway thanks to Kenny Omega, who's on a new run of life here as the AEW World Champion? It's Kevin Knight, the current reigning and defending TNT champion, who just surpassed Kyle Fletcher as the most consecutive defenses in a single run, by the way, taking on Kenny Omega, looking to become Kevin Two Belt for the AEW World Championship. After confronting Kenny Omega after he won the title off of MJF and saying right now that I was owed a casually obligated rematch courtesy of MJF, but of course, Kenny Omega, he's not going to honor MJF, but he sees the potential. He sees the hunger. He sees Kevin Knight as having the intangible quality of a professional wrestler. That's called it. And since Kevin Knight really came into his own and sword crushing Darby Allin, including crushing him in a defense this past Wednesday on Dynamite, he really has shown a lot of great moxie, personality, and really has come into his own light, despite the fact it's off of Don Callis' plagued level of greatness that he tries to exhibit in his family members. without calling the favorite, despite the fact you know who the favorite is. Kenny Omega, of course, we talked about before. This defines the AEW All-In event. It's going to be Kenny Omega. But how does it affect Kenny Omega's mentality? That's the bigger question. Based on what happens earlier in the night, does he have that on his mind? Whether it's the Young Bucks, whether it's Will Ospreay's actions, or whether it's Jon Moxley's influence. Again, I told you all about the fallout last night on Dynamite. All that fallout was Kevin Knight soared across the top rope with a flying clothesline and the TNT title to Kenny Omega's face and left the man bleeding and bludgeoned. Kenny Omega since then made 2 promises. Not only will he hold on to the AEW World Championship this Sunday, he looks to really send a message to Kevin Knight that might bring him back to light. But also, if you're a betting man, don't bet against me at All In. Simply put, let's go ahead and talk about the outlook on the AEW World Championship, Kevin Knight's future, and Kenny Omega and his role in what could be Will Ospreay's ascension after redemption. Let's go around the horn and see what I think about this. Back to the Canadian to kick things off. Ash, your thoughts on this match, the cause and effect for both men, and what do you see being the future of the AEW World Championship?
I don't see Kenny Omega losing this, but I do see this match going out the same way Fletcher versus Hangman did, and where this is going to be a good showing for Kevin Knight and a proving ground to see if he's at that main event level, even though he's a mid-card title holder.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of ironic you say that because you know what Kyle Fletcher was when he challenged for the AEW World Championship?
Exactly.
TNT champion.
And how fitting, right?
I'm about to say, with these 2 young upstarts in the Don Callis family already butting heads and who the better man is. I mean, saw that face-to-face last night on Dynamite. But that being said, as we close things out, you got Kenny Omega retaining.
Yeah, I got Kenny Omega retaining. And after this potential star-making match with Kevin Knight, or like proving ground match, I'm more interested in seeing how they build towards All In between Omega and Ospreay, because there's a lot of history they can play with.
Oh, yeah. And not a lot of it is friendly, despite the fact how friendly right now it seems. But much to JJ's point, I sense there'll be some changes in some men's mentalities, not just the main event, but others that are looking to go all in, and also those that look to still be part of the family or maybe lead the family and say F Don Callis. Just saying. All right, well, that was a straightforward, and I don't think no one's going to disagree, but if anyone wants to add any sort of like story element or mentality thoughts, we'll go ahead and close this thing out as we all say Kenny Omega going once, going twice. Emmanuel, what do you guys say?
Nothing. I was just gonna say this is JJ's version of this. Could have been an AEW Dynamite. That's what I'm thinking. What he's going to say.
Much to Ash's point, last year we saw how far Kyle Fletcher hung with Heyman and Page, and we see the man have nothing but continued success, continued booking, continued confidence. To be in the main event of a pay-per-view, let alone challenging for the title, to have the company take a chance on you is major stock for the future of that company and the talent they want to try and take a chance on. And maybe not wait. Gee, why am I saying that? Anyway, that being
because
said,
of the ABBA song? The ABBA song? Because of the ABBA song, take a chance on me.
Well, we're not in Greece and we're not in Europe, but we will be going all in soon enough. And I feel George Michael will be more prevalent, but thank you. All right, that being said, everyone said Kenny Omega. I expect Will Ospreay to show up after this, and I expect somebody getting dropped. And I expect we're off to the races, going all in. That being said, by God, this is going to be fun to watch. And Kevin Knight, let's see how high you can hang in altitude with Kenny Omega when the lights are on bright and you literally take that chance on yourself against one of the greatest in them all at the grandest stage in your career, or grandest point. Please have your seats in the upright position as we truly fly first class with the Jet Kevin Knight, the one you look up to. But Kenny Omega is going to make sure he's the one that he's looking down upon. Kenny Omega for the win. Well, that being said, folks, this is the last stop. This is the last destination before we head all in after we take a short excursion in Mexico. But this is the last pay-per-view before we go all in, and that's the card. So what are your thoughts? What are your predictions? What's your outlook on this first-time redemption? Who is redeemed? Who gets revenge? Who rises to the occasion? Does somebody show up and become all elite? Stay tuned for our coverage this Sunday. Live watch long event schedule in Zimbabwe Studios. We start, of course, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, stay tuned for the forum. Good luck to everybody here, of course. The forum will be live come in the morning on the social media platforms that I have, as well as the comments down below on each video. And you will have until 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday evening. That is Sunday, July 26th, to make your predictions final. Good luck to you all. JJ, I see your hand real quick. What you got to say?
Did Aaron put any bonus points?
No, I'm in charge of the All Elite League. AEW right now seems not
Okay.
to be a non-Bandido.
Then I'd like to suggest one, because you mentioned something there in that little diatribe that I think would be a great bonus point.
And what would that be?
Because the 90 days expired yesterday. Does anybody debut at Redemption?
Panel vote. Do you want that as a bonus point? You guys decide amongst yourselves. If at least two of you say yes, then consider it official.
I think it would be a great thing to do, because
what?
where did Kairi Sane come from before she went to WWE?
Japan.
What company?
Stardom. Why do you ask?
Who's got a thing with Stardom right now?
Oh, the beef? That would be Thekla, of course.
Do you smell what The Rock is cooking?
I could see
Kairi Sane, Stardom, Thekla, costing her the title, helping Willow win, getting a little bit of revenge. Great way to make an impact. Wrong company, I know, but considering Thekla and her Stardom rivalry right now.
All right, you got me somewhat intrigued.
No, can I add?
There's a lot of people that just became free agents. I mean, we already discussed who may debut next week on Dynamite based off of where it is, but you've got Wyatt's, you've got all kinds of talent.
All right, Emmanuel,
Alistair and Zelina.
I don't think we need Alistair. I heard
it's a new day. Yes, it is.
Y'all been clamoring that for a long time. It seems like a new era in AEW, so why not a new day after Redemption? Just saying.
New Day isn't available just yet because they were released afterwards.
Okay, then never mind.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I still think they make their debut at All In.
That's a possibility, yes. After the tag match, possibly, yeah.
Wild tangent, but I mean, again, not too far-fetched. Amanda, what you got to say real quick?
I was going to tell you no to the extra point because Tony Khan is notorious of returns on the pay-per-view. Let's face facts. He is always every other then he has somebody debuts in the AEW pay-per-view, so it's not as predictable. It's not as an extra pointy type of deal because it is expected. And if people are talking about it, then most likely it will happen.
All right, so that's a no and that's a yes. So Ash, you are the decider.
Yes I say yes.
Fine, it's official. I'll add it. We'll add that as a bonus point. Sorry, Emmanuel, you got overruled. All right, so bonus point. If you figure what's going to show me AEW, that will be a bonus point on the forum. Kairi Hojo is a fair shout-out considering her legacy in Stardom. Seeing Thekla disrespect the Wonder World Stardom ring, and that'd be a hell of an exhibition feud for Thekla considering she's out of the All-In, All-Elite picture. So I like that a lot. Plus the friendship with Nina. And, of course, seeing the demonstration of showcases of respect to the Joshi sitting on pro wrestling that Tony Khan AEW has done with Stardom, showcasing and the crossovers of the partnerships now with Julia Hart and the 5-Star Grand Prix. That's a lot of unique influence there, and that also gets Thekla a lot more fuel to her fire towards why she hates this company. And the longevity of history, it makes sense. There's good continuity. I actually like that thought a lot. All right. Does anyone, Emmanuel says, please, actually got anything further to add what JJ said or anything further to add regarding anyone showing up? Or are we pretty much finishing with that here?
Wouldn't it be hilarious if Wonder Shooting Machine Guns debut at a Redemption and not at the Michigan show?
I mean, it would be, but that would make no sense.
Yeah,
that's why I said wouldn't it be hilarious. That's why I said wouldn't it be hilarious if they, no pun intended, pull the trigger too early.
Well, it would be notorious for Tony Khan.
It's out of control. All right.
Pulling the trigger either too early or too late. Hi, Acclaim.
Yeah, well, again, nature of the business, booking hindsight, misinterpreted. That's the nature of the business. All right. It is what it is. All right. Well, that being said, I also know this. I'm looking forward to this night's pay-per-view. I think the expectation, again, of a great, fun night of wrestling is there. But I think expectation of suspension of disbelief for a couple of other things is also there. And those two things are all I need to be invested as a professional wrestling fan. Simple as that. So again, to Mayo's point in the opener, it should be a fun Sunday evening. I look forward to being, of course, on the call with whoever. So stay tuned, folks, for that here at the Simple Album Studios. That being said, let's get the F out here and go to bed. And thank everybody for tuning in. First and foremost, Ash, this was a double fun session with you. So go ahead and tell where the people can connect and find you.
You can find me on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, at ShadowBadAsh, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Baddie for Wrestling. Don't be a dickhead.
Dickhead. All right. Thank you very much. Again, folks, stay tuned for more of me and Ash on our Simple Sessions. Next one to be determined. We'll talk about that behind closed quarters. And stay tuned for the next G1 Climax update, as we will bring you Baddie back a breakdown as we go further into the G1. We are now 3 or 4 days in. Still a whole lot more to come.
Yep,
thank you so much.
I haven't started yet.
You'll have work to do, young buck.
Yes. Like, yeah, you know, to the shock of no one, right?
And, well, exactly. We again, priorities are our passions. We know what you're up to a degree. Just keep taking care of yourself and enjoy amateur wrestling as you can. Follow the ways of the simple man. You live better. Thank you so much. Emmanuel, always a pleasure. You're still a goof, but still appreciate you. Go ahead and tell where people can interact and also follow you.
Yes, you can follow me and interacting games and movies. I'm still trying to figure out which movies is okay for the YouTube, because they keep
probably.
It's a problem. It's a problem, because like I'm trying to make movies and they keep copyrighting me. I don't know what to tell you. But in bigger channels they don't copyright them. What the heck, YouTube? What's up with that? Nevertheless, until I find a proper movie to post, you will see a movie for once. But nevertheless, you could follow me at EDM7224 at the Instagram, Emmanuel Dominguez at the Facebook. You can follow Arlene Dominguez, my sister, at Facebook, Arlene Dominguez on Instagram, ADM72244 at the X. And as much as I want to torture people with my money, I'm jobless. It's hard. It's a hard day. It's a hard time. But one of these days, Noah, when karaoke night is coming back, when I get my job, I'm gonna go for you. I'm gonna get you to sing, my brother. I'm gonna get sing.
Damn you. JJ, always appreciate you despite your treasure cats. Again, good luck at predictions. I wrote all yours down, including as far as a person showing up. I put down yes based on your little thing. But go ahead and tell what people can further engage and find you.
Well, you can find me. Such a beautiful image. And can we give it up to Thea real quick for all the work she's been doing these past couple weeks? I mean, Impact last week, NXT this week, freaking Evolve last night. Hardworking young woman. But anyways, you can find me on Instagram at the Renegade JJ Williams. YouTube, of course, is Casa D18 Studios. X is Casa D18 Studio, no S at the end. Make sure you're following the Simply Reliable Studios on X at SR Studios 2024. That is where you can find all of our big announcements, big live streams, etc., etc., etc. it was confirmed today via XDMs that come next Thursday, so 1 week from tonight, we will be getting our second two-time guest, our first two-time wrestler, as we will be welcoming the and new Pro Wrestling Symphony Women's Champion, Kaya McKenna, back to the show.
Oh, how lovely. Congrats to her, by the way. And of course, Kaya McKenna looking to seize the Spark Pacific Championship from Erica Demina, which she did, by the way, folks.
Yep, it's in that image.
Congratulations, Kaya. Kaya, 2 belts. Continue.
Big weekend for her last weekend as she picked up both those belts. Stat Boy was there live to watch her win the Symphony Women's title. We will be sponsoring her first title defense in a couple of weeks. But yeah, and while we were on the air, I realized that my Casa D18 Studio X account had a message from a former guest of ours inquiring about coming back as well. So as soon as I get that date ironed out, hopefully I will have that secured by Shenanigans Saturday. I can make that announcement, which will be our second two-time wrestler guest. Can't really say and new because she's had her championship for a minute, but if you follow the non-rap NWA, then you should be familiar with who she is, as she also wears a crown. But be on the lookout for that announcement here in the coming days.
All right. All right. Well, good stuff. And again, congratulations to Conrad of Karma. Kaya McKenna, as Karma is a woman that loves hockey, that represents Pro Wrestling Symphony, Erica Demina. But all the best to you in Evolve. As again, she keeps on making waves in the independents. Congrats to Kaya.
And be on the lookout for Saturday Shenanigans, as this man will probably be in the hot seat a lot more frequently with my job as of right now. So, and I'm sure that's exactly his thought process hearing that news. But
hey, because I do for friends. All right. Well, again, always a team player.
Yes.
One of those things I continue to more moderate than participate.
And then again, go into the archives, check out our interview with Kiera Hogan from last week. Fun little interview with her. Check out our interview with the People's Babushka, Jeffrey John, which we had this evening prior to this stream. Good stuff with him. Almost 2 hours with him.
Nice.
Almost an hour with Kiera Hogan.
Nice.
You know, we'll see how long we go with Kaya. I was hoping that Jeff and Statboy would be able to join us for the Kaya interview, since neither one of them were there the last time. Jeff being a hockey nut, Statboy having gotten to see her win the title and then drive her to the airport afterwards. So, you know.
Right.
But unfortunately, they will not be able to participate, as Jeff will be on lockdown in Anaheim at the House of Mouse. And, well, Statboy has a blackjack gig that he will be getting paid to be a dealer for the night. So, you know, paid plus whatever he makes in tips.
Good for him.
I'm not mad at him, as long as he turns some of those tips into Simply Reliable Studios t-shirts, you know. Which, again, link in the description on YouTube. Go buy your Simply Reliable Studios shirts today. Lots to choose from.
Buy a shirt. Again.
Simply Reliable Studios, Saturday Shenanigans, Rage of Wrestling, I Speak Typo, Batty Bracket Breakdown, I Heart Bloody Techers, all kinds of stuff. The Emmanuel card. Get you your own Emmanuel card t-shirt.
All right. Thank you for all of that, JJ. And again, folks, for more of that fun content on the go for your listening to, remember, we're on Spotify, so you can find a lot of stuff there today on Spotify. Just look up Saturday Shenanigans. It's simple as that. Thank you, JJ. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Of course, as you engage with us in the conversation and also lend your own thoughts towards predictions, as you all continue to make this possible, here's to episode number 178. If you do wish to further engage with me, find me if you choose. Good luck to all of you. And then Foster in 1916, again, on the X and on YouTube for all things wrestling. Shout out to BW Fam and to my brother, KG King, for helping me, as always, with the All Elite graphics. For I am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling, damn it. And again, the Men's agenda is not looking like it's going to light up anytime soon, except for Friday. Thankfully, I appreciate that. Again, you see what's ahead here. Saturday Shenanigans will be Saturday night, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will have our live watch-along event for AEW Redemption starting at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As again, Redemption starts 1 hour earlier than usual pay-per-views. I am very happy about that, personally. Although I gotta make sure it actually did say 6, not 7. I'm pretty sure it did say that. And then, of course, Monday evening, you'll find me on Papagino, breaking it down on Predictions League Breakdown, and that will be penciled in now live 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Papagino Network and the Simple Man's brand. Speaking of Gino, I said earlier, I'll say it again. Shout out to my fellow Italian. Of course, follow him at Papagino 0017. Great contributor and friend to the Simply Reliable Studios family and gang. Of course, moderator of the No DQ review and also the leader of his own forum, where he brings the major push to wrestling. Where this past week, he talked about the best match of the year so far. It was quite a rousing conversation with him, Dave Scheffler, and Evan. Go ahead and watch that again today at the Papagino Network on YouTube. And stay tuned again with me and him breaking down on Predictions League Breakdown. And again, as you saw earlier, me and Ash, we started our own little conversation. Go check out the latest episode of Simple Session. It had a little bit of a name, that tune. We started our own little batty game. And apparently you saw earlier in the forum, she has a batty game for me next week. So see what me and her discuss and engage and deal with in under an hour. Exclusively at the Simmons brand at Bag for Wrestling. Next day in time to be determined, live simultaneously across our YouTube channels. And then outside of that, as I talked about earlier, next week, the predictions continue, and so does the madness, because next week is SummerSlam. Due to the fact that show is 2 nights, I am not effing insane. There will be 2 nights of city predicting. The date and times will be determined, and you will find out more about that on my YouTube channel's community tab. Stay tuned for more on that. And that's all I got to say for now. As I always like to conclude, there are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters, just fans of opinions with this passion we all share. At the end of the day, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, treasure your families, and just feel life and enjoy professional wrestling. It is truly as simple as that. And again, get your predictions in. You know when they're due. You know where the forum will be, in and out of YouTube. But with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. Quick shout out to the Rage of Wrestling. Subscribe today, Walter Cruz. And follow Pop Culture Powerbomb on the X as well today. Our utter morning mighty queen of the SRS in and out of YouTube. Thekla, appreciate you. But again, I appreciate all of you. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. The Bells Bear Live on Demand on any of the channels of the Simple Studios family banner that you see this on today. And hit the subscribe button. I assure you, content, creativity, the passion, the conversation, the fantasy booking, the city predicting, the interviews, and the expenses of my dignity are not going to let up anytime soon. But what will let up right now is my voice, as I bid all of you in Kenny Omega fashion a fine adieu. For Emmanuel, for Ash, for JJ, for all of you that choose to engage with us every day in and out on the X and on YouTube. Thank you so much. We will see you all next time in the Studios. And until then, make a positive bet in life. Have a good night. And thank you for tuning in to another rousing episode of Simply Predicting as we forge towards Sunday, where AEW brings us a redemption. Have a good night, folks, and see you next time here at the Simply Reliable Studios. Take care. I'm hitting the button immediately because, Jesus, I'm tired.
Bye.
Yeah, because the pay-per-view with the redemption does not have much redemption in this, storylines.
I sense more revenge than anything else, but it still should reek of awesomeness, Canadian style. Bye, folks.